matter that
Dude,
much.
all I know is I'm going to infinitely enjoy the movie conversation that you and I had
More than anything that happens
more
with
than
this.
anything that happens at any
Well,
point
you know what?
tonight.
The good thing is we'll be able to rehab a lot of that conversation tomorrow because we're going to be going through all of the Friday the 13th movies and looking at how Jason evolved as a character
true.
throughout them.
Well, that was kind of the impetus for the conversation.
So, yeah, because I was trying desperately, and we'll hear more about this tomorrow, about trying to watch the 2009 No, Get Out, Salvador version of the Friday the 13th movie that was remade by Michael Bay and Marcus Nispel.
Oh, man.
The director, I believe, also of the Conan the Barbarian remake.
So who's jockeying this shit show? Nobody, and nobody. Okay, cool.
Yep, so we don't have to pay attention yet.
All right.
Is that one of the Obama daughters?
Oh, wait. That's George Stephanopoulos there.
Okay. Salvador, get out.
He was like an advisor to Bill Clinton.
Sorry. Fucking dog is coming in here during the fucking recording.
Or something. He was something. I think maybe he was Bill Clinton's chief of staff.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, whatever.
I'm a fucking idiot. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Who cares?
Who does? Who can?
It's a bunch of nobodies. Dude, what about the... I wish we kind of could go back and show everybody the hype man. That
The
was
hype
trying to,
man,
I don't
yeah.
even know who it was, but there was some dude out there.
It was it was the president of ABC.
Dude, if they really want to get somebody... If they really want to get this fucking debate hype, why don't they just go get Flavor Flav?
I don't know, man.
Get Flavor Flav to throw on the clock.
It doesn't make sense either because they come out and they try to hype up the crowd, and they don't do a good job because they're all like you said, like high school principals, and they're boring as shit. Yeah. But as soon as they start the debate, they keep telling the crowd to shut the fuck up.
Right.
Everybody don't make any noise. Everybody be quiet. Everybody be respectful. Well, then why the fuck are you trying to hype up the fucking crowd for?
Yeah, what's the point?
You should have a dude passing out Valium at the fucking front.
How about instead of hyping up the crowd, why not just get directly to what everybody came here for tonight?
Right.
All right, so here's Julian Castro, somebody that shouldn't be on the stage tonight. Welcome back for another fucking time-wasting appearance, Julian. How you've made it to round 3, I will never know.
Yep, and I just want to remind all you Tulsi Gabbard fans that she's not here.
And for those of you worried that there's not a lot of nobodies, here comes Beto O'Rourke. What's up, everybody? Hey. Hi, how's it going? Wow, a lot of hot chicks in the audience tonight. Hey, dude, what's up?
Here's Andrew Yang, who...
all right, somebody I actually want to hear from.
He claims he's going to do some kind of surprise thing tonight.
Oh, shit, he's got a fucking trick. Dude, what if he pulls out a gun and threatens the audience?
But
who knows?
It's even trending on Twitter right now. Yang's debate surprise. He claims he's going to do something tonight that no one's ever done in
here's
the debate.
somebody, like, can we be honest about Kamala? I feel like from her numbers, it's do or die tonight. She needs to shine like a fucking star.
If we get the Kamala from the first debate, then maybe she can rebuild her chances a little bit.
Elizabeth Warren, an actual contender for the presidency.
For some reason.
Well, whatever. At least...
Yeah, we gotta stay. Yeah,
right. And oh God, don't jog too fast, Uncle Joe.
It's almost like he heard you.
He
slowed down a little.
You might squirt blood all over somebody tonight from a broken eye blood vessel.
There's Bernie.
Why
aren't you running, Bernie? Run!
Yeah, come in and throw a few shadow boxing jabs, Bernie. Come on. All right. At least he didn't fall.
He looks like he was going for a high five there for a second.
He did the big swoop in handshake, which is awesome, by the way. Bernie's the best grandpa.
Here's Pete.
Buttigieg.
Mayor Pete coming in.
Thankfully free of shit from his lover's ass tonight.
On his face. And there's Cory Booker, another guy who shouldn't be here.
Yeah, another nobody that should not be up. And to round out the nobody squad, here's Amy Klobuchar.
Now this is the one here that wow, I mean, just should not be present.
I mean, no. There's more than one.
I mean, but if you had to get rid of one.
Julian Castro shouldn't be here.
Absolutely.
Amy Klobuchar shouldn't be here. Cory Booker shouldn't be here.
And it's like...
Beto O'Rourke should not be here. The rest of them should be here. Okay?
Yeah.
Everybody else that I didn't just mention
if you
should
just
be here.
trim off the 4 on the end,
and ABC News knows
two on each end, then
they don't know that.
They stacked it that way.
Well, yeah, I mean they're here by polling popularity or something. I think
they're here by a fair and democratic standard.
No, there's no fair and democratic.
You're lying, Paul. You know what, lying Paul here.
So, Scotty, did you hear about Andrew Yang's debate surprise, dude?
I did not.
I think he's going to pull out one of those like little dead man switches and go like, all right, everybody, if I let go of this button, the world explodes.
Look, there was two ways Andrew Yang could have won my vote tonight, TJ. He could
It's
have come
trending right now.
He could have come out naked, or he could have come out and smoked crack.
Here, I'll show you the fucking video. Actually,
Yang's surprise, dude.
Dude, Paul, would you have voted for Andrew Yang if he came out and freebased in front of like 25
If he
million
jumps
Americans?
up on the podium,
let me show you the Yang thing.
He's got something big and unprecedented in store for today's debate.
Andrew Yang apparently planning something big.
He's got it trending,
He's
of
gonna
course.
free
Dude, I learned
base.
one thing I learned is, man, those Yang gang shit, as far as like getting shit to trend on social media
They're
goes,
good at that, man.
They just do it like that, no problem.
I have an actual call as to what this is going to be.
All right, what do you think
It's gonna be a carefully crafted speech centered around surprising numbers that are terribly bad for the economy and the people, and that he addresses.
Wrong.
That's going to be his surprise.
I think he's going
Here's
to dump
another
a bag
surprise.
of money into the crowd. I think he's just going to get a big bag of money and start just throwing it out there.
I think he's gonna give each and every candidate, dude, on the stage, including him, $1,000. Like, look, we're gonna do with this fucking money.
Dude, maybe it'll be like an Oprah thing, and he'll say, everybody look under your seats. There's a $1,000 bill strapped under every seat in the house tonight. And there's like a riot will break out as people try and steal each other's bills.
I hope so.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It'll be amazing. No, I think it's going to be some just thing he weaves into every answer he makes. Surprise this. Surprise. Here's another surprise for you. You know, American household has lost 10% of its income over the last 20 years, and there's nothing being done to address that. And here's another surprise for you. Automation will soon replace all truckers in the world.
That's lame. I hope it's something cooler than that. I hope it's something like real.
I hope so, too.
Strange.
I kind of hope he does the total despot thing, and he's like, I have wired the entire earth to explode using my vast fortune, and if you do not elect me
Oh shit.
to your overlord, then, you know, and then he just implements his...
Yeah, you must vote now.
Right.
Go to the polls now. We're like, oh, Andrew Yang, please.
Yeah. He calls a special election, kicks Donald Trump out of office, and becomes the forever ruler.
Dude, as long as I get my $1,000 in the mail every month,
He
or
installs the AI.
whatever, I'm happy. Paul, you're gonna get $1,000 a month. Are you good with that?
Get 1,000 Yang
I'm not going to
bucks.
turn my nose
I
up
know.
to
That's
it.
what I'm saying, dude. That's all.
I'll take some Yang money.
I mean, I know Bernie's offering some pretty good shit to America, but damn, he's not offering me $1,000.
Bernie.
$1,000.
You guys, how do you Bernie can't even box that speed bag without it hitting him in the face. No, I actually thought that just made him more
That
cool.
speed bag was Yang.
Yeah.
Yang.
I thought that made him more cool.
I
speed
liked it
bag.
too. I thought it was
I'd
funny.
love to see Trump do that.
I
'cause
love
you know
his
Trump would be
exaggerated.
like,
Whoa.
But see, I was raised on Clinton, you know, like the lovable kind of uncle type president. And now we got like the possibility of the lovable grandpa president.
I'm cool with that.
Dude, Clinton was kind of the same, had the same energy as Bernie in that way. Or I think he occupies the same part in some people's hearts.
Or we can have our creepy uncle become president, too.
See, he wasn't the creepy uncle, though.
no, I'm talking about Joe,
Clinton was
I'm talking
the
about Joe
cool
Biden,
uncle.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, Clinton became the creepy uncle over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the creepy uncle by the time he left office.
Are
but
you legal?
I remember pre-cum stain Clinton. You know, he was the cool uncle. And even, I got to be honest with you, I was aging up at that point. I was a teenager, so he remained the cool uncle. Oh, he got his dick sucked in the Oval Office. Oh, let me.
One boss, dude.
I meant
yeah.
more. I was more talking about like today with all the fucking.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Clinton's lame
totally-
now, dude.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's like an emaciated vegan at this point.
Dude, Clinton, I don't even think he's there anymore. I think Hillary slurped his brains out with a straw a long time ago. She did him like a fucking.
I shall feed upon your essence.
She did him like fucking fucking Anthony Hopkins did to Ray Liotta at the end of Hannibal. She just carved him open and ate his brains a long time ago. He
Makes
just-
sense to me. It all adds up. Absolutely. So these motherfuckers
Blah
are
blah
still
blah
talking.
blah blah blah. What does Joe Biden have to do tonight to really take it up? And
All right, I guess we
level?
could tune in for a second and see.
Yeah,
what the
we could
fuck's being
listen to
said.
some of this bullshit.
Look, I'm wishing the moderators good luck, too.
You've done this. You know
Trying
what
to
this
keep
feels
this
like.
crowd quiet because so far they're pretty enthused and pretty excited about this tonight. It's one thing that I would say that we should all watch for, too. I know all those candidates are going to try and get the attention of the moderator.
Oh, by the
in
way,
some
somebody
way
learned
or
staying in the
another.
French Quarter last weekend. Woo is the official noise of idiots. Like,
Oh, you didn't know that already?
Yeah, this is a late revelation for Scotty.
Yeah. This is literally my whole night. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah! And then saying someone's name, which I'm guilty of totally, but just over and over again at drunk stupor.
Yeah.
Andrew. No, do you watch Andrew? Yeah, like,
Andrew.
oh, dude, people wandering down the street.
yeah.
Where's Andrew at?
That's
Andrew!
just a drunk thing, though,
Andrew.
honestly.
And then, woo!
Yeah, woo
And
is
then, of course, the idiots at the debate. Woo! America! Yeah!
a bunch of dorks. What are these people talking about? Are these the debate people?
How bad are they going to
These
feel?
the actual people running it?
First
Or
debate, her poll numbers
These are
shot
talking
up, her
heads
endorsements
to
shot up,
distract
her
you
money
until-
shot
Who
up,
cares?
And then she
who
just
cares
sort
what any of them
dropped
have to say?
I don't.
She pre-game. She was drinking some fucking booze and shit. Cool.
Maybe I'm gonna get some booze for this fucking horrible
Dude, can
debate.
I be honest with you? I would take any of the 4 trimmings on the side and replace them with Delaney, and I'd be happier.
Yep.
At least Delaney would be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm a Delaney-act till I die.
With the caveat, he appears in a hot dog suit.
Dude, he needs to
Yeah, he's
start
gotta
calling
cut-
his.
I mean, that's like
he needs to
that's
start
it.
calling his 12 fans Delaney-acts for sure.
Oh yeah, dude. And
Delaney-acts are here.
release a cool, like ad where he rips his shirt off like Hulk Hogan. He's
to
ripped.
reveal his Oh yeah, that's true, isn't he?
He's ripped as fuck.
He's ripped, dude. Oh, Delaney-acts.
Reveal his big pythons and shit. Get a bunch of actors to come in and portray all the other fucking candidates and have him drop an elbow on them. You know what I mean?
And Delaney has said that even though he's not in this debate, he's not dropping out. Even though he has no support and no one likes him and he's horrible, he's not dropping out.
Delaney,
You know what? I'm
I
gonna
feel
fucking.
your pain,
it's
dude.
time to vote for Delaney, y'all.
Yeah.
Win, TJ.
I've been saying this since the beginning, dude. I've been a Delaney-act from day one.
I'm gonna climb up to the top rope. I'm gonna look down on the desiccated corpse
dude.
of Andrew Yang, Joe Biden, and Bernie
Dude,
Sanders.
just have, like, all
and
kinds of,
drop
like-
the biggest elbow you've ever seen and win this election.
Dude, he could have a huge campaign ad where it's basically just a big wrestling match where it's like the King of the fucking Ring or whatever, where they just
Yeah,
hire
dude.
a bunch of, B-side wrestlers that kind of look
Jobbers.
like the candidates. And they're like, oh my God, it's Andrew Yang! He runs in, fucking Delaney-act beats him to fucking death, you know what I mean? Oh my God, it's Grandpa Joe Biden, and he comes in with a walker and then throws it off and then blood pops out of his eye. and shit.
let's-
They could do a whole
What
fucking
would-
thing.
all right. Let's figure out their finishing moves for each candidate since we got some time.
Okay.
So what would Warren's finishing move be?
The boring, where she just lectures the person till they fall asleep and then wins by default. What would Cory Booker's finishing move be?
The slam dunk, dude.
The Booker looker, where he pulls out his big old dick and whips him with it.
The Booker look, damn. Oh,
How do you know his dick is big? Just because he's black?
No,
Oh,
I sucked it once.
oh shit.
okay.
I sucked Cory Booker's dick.
Sucked Cory Booker's dick.
You went to New Jersey and went,
Yep. Everybody that's ever been through Jersey has had to suck Cory
mean-
Booker's dick. There's a stop sign there.
what's
where
Booty Judges?
They won't let you go through.
I think Booty Judge should have like the Rikishi thing where he like hits you in
I
the
think
face with his ass.
Yeah, it
Stink
should be like
face?
the booty slap or something.
Yeah, the booty smack.
Give him the fucking Yokozuna stink face. Dude.
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I like it. What would be Joe Biden's finishing move?
Oh fuck!
It'd have to be something with his eye.
A sleeper hold,
bleeding.
dude.
He'd have maybe he'd put him in a hold and then have like a fucking grand mal seizure while he has them in the hold and it breaks their neck or something.
How about
The
like
neck buster or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
the neck buster.
how about
Yeah.
the grope
the
or like
grope?
the rope grope or something? Because he's like
The rope
Maybe a
grope.
submission move. Once Biden locks this in, this match is over.
Dude, I love it.
Can he get to the rope? Oh,
the Biden hairlock. He's smelling Elizabeth Warren's hair again.
Gross.
what about Grandpa Bernie? What is?
Yeah, what's Bernie's finisher?
The people's elbow, dude.
Oh shit. Okay.
The people's elbow. Yeah.
He just steals it from the Rock.
Dude, Kamala's finisher could be swift justice, where she pulls out like a hidden nightstick and beats you over the head with it and then plants weed on you.
Yeah.
What state are they having this in? Is weed legal in the state they're having it in?
Andrew Yang should just be
I
called
don't
the
even know where they're
UBI,
having
but
it.
it should stand for like uppercut, pin.
I think Andrew
some-
Yang should do
or
something
no,
off the
pin
top
starts with
rope,
a B,
dude.
with a P.
He should fly off the top and do something to you, man. Like maybe like a
It should
leg
be
drop.
called the UBI though, dude.
Oh,
Because that's
dude.
every fucking thing leads to the UBI with him.
Maybe a leg drop off the top could be Andrew Yang's. I don't know.
Maybe he just stuffs a big wad of money down your throat until you pass out.
I'm from Texas Southern University for
Oh,
tonight's
it's Texas,
Democratic
yeah.
debate. The
They'll
top
get
10
busted
candidates
then.
are here. It's going to start right now, and on the stage, you see them.
All
They
right.
have all met the criteria set by the Democratic National Committee. At least 10 others
Julian
have not
Castro.
met the threshold. So for the
Get
first
off
time
the
in
stage,
history,
you
they actually
pair of
did, but-
in a
losers.
single night with all the top candidates facing off. It is a critical test for candidates
Why
and
is
their
Joe grinning
campaigns
already?
at a critical
He's
time for
happy.
our country.
He's the front runner.
Lay
He's-
out
we've
their
gotta be
vision
happy.
for the
It's
country,
Rick
their
Paul.
records, their differences with President Trump and each other. And we're going to do our best to bring you a lively, informative, and civil
lively and
debate.
informative
I'm joined here
debate.
tonight by my ABC colleague, World News Tonight anchor David Muir, our national correspondent Lindsay Davis, and Jorge Ramos from our partner network,
Whoa,
Univision.
get that Mexican
Jorge?
out of here. States America,
much.
not
We
Mexico.
appreciate the
What's he sitting
opportunity
behind,
to
Trump's
welcome
wall?
Latinos across the country and to ask
A
about
what?
Latinx issues.
Latinx-
during these challenging times.
Latinx. That,
En
I don't
este
really
país
understand
También se habla
Latinx.
español. Este debate
No.
se realiza en un
Uh-uh,
momento
not
muy
in my
difícil para
country,
los
God
latinos
damn
en
it.
Texas
Press
y en todo
one for
Estados
English, I
Unidos,
don't
pero
think
es
so.
importante que ellos sepan, que sepamos que este
I'll
también
speak this.
es nuestro país.
Burrito
Let me just give you a
Supreme.
little translation here.
Burrito
I'm telling
Supreme.
Latinos that despite the fact that we are facing difficult times, this is
This guy's
our
racist.
country.
He's assuming that
He's-
he's assuming all
We are
Latinx
delighted
people
to be on the
only speak
beautiful
Spanish.
campus of
Racist, dude.
Texas
This
Southern
sucks.
University, one of
Shut
the
up.
largest
I'm a
historically
generic
black
news
colleges and
person.
Aren't there
universities
people
in the
on
country.
stage who might
And
be
here in the
president?
Health
Can we
and
hear from
Physical
them
Education
instead of
building
this,
tonight,
please?
We are joined
Yeah,
by a
everybody
live
that gets on
audience
stage
of
has
What
to
am I
have a little
talking about? We're
stroke
gonna
time.
talk over most of them
most
anyway.
invited by the Democratic National Committee.
we're not,
And
TJ.
of course, some of
We're
the
gonna
brightest
listen
minds of
Oh
the
yeah,
student
we
body
gotta
here
provide
at
actual
TSU.
real
Go
commentary
Tigers!
this time, TJ.
I don't want to.
No. We gotta be professional
The rules
about
of
this
this debate
shit,
are very
TJ.
basic
I don't wanna,
tonight and
though.
have been agreed
Pros.
to by
Here are the
all
rules,
the
guys.
campaigns in advance.
Here are those
Candidates will
rules.
have 1 minute, 15 seconds
Okay.
to answer a direct question and 45 seconds for a rebuttal or response as directed by one of the
Which they'll
moderators.
totally go over anyways.
Candidates will each see green and yellow lights.
Except Uncle
There you
Joe.
see them right there, indicating how much
I'm
time
done?
they
Okay,
have
good.
remaining. And when time is up, the light will turn red. Candidates who interrupt
like
will
the
be
butt
subject to
shot.
having their time reduced later on. But this is democracy, the great American experiment, and the candidates are here tonight to make
Whatever,
their case.
dude.
The podium places based on their current standings
Yeah,
and
'cause
nationally
you can have a real
recognized
meaningful
nationally
conversation
recognized
about
polls with
issues
the
that
leading
matter in
candidates
a
the
minute and
Senate.
15 seconds.
All
So
candidates have been
true.
told they can have 1 minute to make an opening statement, and we're going to begin in reverse polling order with Secretary Julian Castro.
Reverse polling order.
Yeah, no one cares about you, so go ahead.
Good evening. I'm
I'm a long
Welcome
shot.
to Texas.
Texas.
It's great to be here
Let's call
at
it cheap
TSU,
pop.
home of the Tigers.
Woo, Tigers.
You know, on January 20th,
Didn't we beat them
2021,
recently?
at 12:01
the
p.m.,
Longhorns.
Okay.
we're going to have a Democratic president, a Democratic House, and a Democratic Senate. There will be
I will
life
be in none of them.
after Donald Trump. But the truth is that our problems didn't start just with Donald Trump.
What?
And we won't solve them
Kill
by
him!
embracing old ideas.
Tar and feather him.
We
Run
need a
him from
bold
the
vision.
venue.
Universal pre-K and universal health care.
Trump is the source of all problems, and once he's gone, they'll all be solved.
A tax
Everyone knows
system
that.
rewards people who have to work for a living. But first, we have to win. And that means exciting a young, diverse coalition of Americans who are ready for a bold future.
What was that?
That's what
Americans.
It's
Julian,
what Carter
you gotta
did.
show more energy
It's
at
what
the next
Clinton
debate.
did. It's what Barack Obama did. And it's what
Oh, he's
I
trying
can
to be
do in this
Obama?
race.
Oh, you're not Obama.
Get
I'm
from
Obama
Michigan,
now.
Wisconsin, and
I'm the new
Pennsylvania,
Obama.
I have got a
Florida,
vision
Georgia, and Arizona.
for this country,
and finally,
TJ.
turn Texas blue and say goodbye to Donald Trump.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Goodbye, Donald Trump.
Julian Castro,
Senator Klobuchar.
get off the fucking stage.
Good evening,
Dude.
Texas Southern.
Gong.
I believe that what unites us up here, the 10 of us, is much stronger than what divides us.
Oh,
And
wow,
I think
that's an original
true
fucking
of our
thought,
country
for sure.
too. Now, I may not be the loudest person up here, but I think
I
we've
might not
already
be the
got
smartest
that in the White
or
House.
the most interesting. I might not have the best
Houston,
ideas.
we have a problem.
Might not be the most
This-
physically attractive.
We have a guy
but,
there that is literally running our country.
I forget
like
where
a
I was
game
going with
show.
this, but vote for me.
He would rather lie than lead. I think
Dude,
we're
this
Oh,
guy.
wow, that
something
was
different.
slam
I'm
dunk.
someone
He'd
that
rather
tells the
lie than
truth.
lead.
I
Oh,
don't
shit.
make promises
Slap
that
that
I
on a
can't
bumper
keep.
sticker, Amy
I have
Klobuchar.
people's back, and I
nailed
believe
him.
that to win, you,
got it.
bring people with you,
Zing.
and that is how you govern as well. So
Is
you're
that
going
over
to
with?
hear a lot of ideas up here. Some will be great, but if you see that some of them seem a
I
little
am the
off
most
track,
generic candidate imaginable.
I've got a better way.
What's
If
your
you
better
feel
way?
So wait a
stuck
minute.
in the middle
You're
of the
Wait a
extremes
minute.
in our
You
politics
just said.
and you are tired
So
of
if
the
you think any of
noise
these
and the
ideas up here
nonsense,
sound
you've gotta home
crazy,
with me.
come back
Because
to
I don't
me.
want to
Owe
be
me
the president
Klobuchar.
for half of America.
I got some
I
boring,
want to be the
safe,
president
sane ideas.
for all of America.
Boo! Garbage!
gonna unite this country.
Get the fuck off the stage, bitch.
Congressman Beto O'Rourke.
It's
Beto.
an
Hold
honor
up.
to be on this debate.
Are we doing it?
Hey, it's cool to be back doing this again. The last time I did this, there was a hot chick in the audience, and she gave me her phone number, but Beavis stole it and told me that he won't give it back until I clean the toilet, because I clogged it. Anyway, speaking of clogged toilets, I started thinking about, like, America and stuff, and we need to, like, unclog the toilet of America. If you get my drift. You know? Like, get it to the point where, like, we can flush it again and, like, poop in it again. You know? And that's really, like, what's at stake tonight, I think, more than anything, is, like, where you're going to poop. You know? You know what I mean?
Wow.
Wow.
I've
Powerful
never
words.
thought about it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a great opening statement.
Wow.
Senator Cory Booker.
I like that one. He's
It was
showing a little more
only
energy.
20 years ago that
Yeah,
I got a
it's
law
getting a little
student
better.
and moved to inner city
I
Newark,
like
New
his
Jersey,
unclogging the toilet of
to serve as
America
a tenants'
thing.
rights lawyer
Powerful.
to try to address the challenges in my community, and I was sobered by them. The gun violence, the substandard housing, but it was my greatest mentor, a woman named Miss Virginia Jones, who challenged me. She said, boy, if all you see in this neighborhood is problems, that's all there's ever going to be. But if you're stubborn and defiant and can put forth a vision that can unify people, then we can make transformative change. She was a church woman that said, without vision, the people will perish. Well, that's exactly what we did. We created extraordinary unity in our community, and we did things that other people
anyone,
think
you guys
thought
tapping out?
was
I'm tapping out.
impossible.
This is
That's the
bullshit.
story
I'm gonna
of
tap
America.
out.
At
I can't
our
even-
best, we
We're
unify.
gonna bring
We
this
find
country
common
together,
values
TJ.
and common purpose.
No, I'm seriously
the
gonna go
differences
get a drink,
amongst us
'cause,
Democrats on the
go
stage
ahead.
are
We're
not
not
as great
missing
as the
anything.
urgency
Yeah, go for it.
for us to
I'll wait till,
unite as a party.
No, go
not
ahead.
just to
Can you
beat
bring me a
Donald
water,
Trump,
too?
but to unite America in common cause and
Thank you,
common
Jim.
purpose. That's why I'm running for president, and that's how I will lead this nation.
We're going to bring the country
Entrepreneur
together.
Andrew Yang.
Yeah, Yang. Publicity
In
stunt.
America today, everything revolves around the almighty dollar. Our schools, our hospitals, our media, even our government.
Yeah.
It's why we don't trust our institutions anymore. We have to get our country working for us again instead of the other way around. We have to see ourselves as the owners and shareholders of this democracy rather than inputs into a giant machine. When you donate money to a presidential campaign, what happens? The politician spends the money on TV ads and consultants, and you hope it works out. It's time to trust ourselves more than our politicians. That's why I'm going to do something unprecedented tonight. My campaign will now give a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for an entire year to 10 American families, someone watching this at home right now. If you believe that you can solve your own problems better than any politician, go to yang2020.com and tell us how $1,000 a month will help you do just that. This is how we will get our country working for us again, the American people.
There you go. He's going to give some money away.
What was that weird delayed reaction? Was that the Yang Gang out there?
Some people really want that money.
Dude, wait.
It's original, I'll give you that.
Somebody's laughing through Booty Judge's
The American
time.
people are divided and doubtful at the very moment we need to rise.
What is this?
Some of the greatest
Oh,
challenges
they're
we've
all
ever
making the
seen.
same, except
As
Yang.
mayor of an industrial city,
Yeah,
coming
Yang
back
just
from
did
the
his
brink,
spiel, though.
As a veteran
He's
of the
just
war
like,
in
I'm
Afghanistan,
gonna give you some
I know
money.
what's
Woohoo!
at
Is that the
stake
surprise?
in our national
Yeah, he's going to
leadership.
give 10 people $1,000.
We keep sending politicians to Washington, asking them to fight for us. But then when they get there, they seem more interested in the part about fighting than the part about us. Good politics is supposed to be not about the day-to-day fights of the politicians, but about the day-to-day lives of Americans. We just marked the
What political system are
anniversary
you
of 9/11.
familiar with?
All day today, I've been thinking about September 12th, the way it felt when for a moment
Did I miss
we
Yang?
came together as a country.
No.
Oh,
Imagine
my
if we had
God.
been able to sustain that unity.
The day after
Imagine
9/11.
what would be possible
Yang
right
ain't gone
now
yet.
with
He did.
ideas that are
What'd he
bold
do?
enough to meet the challenges
10
of our
families
time,
gonna get
but
$1,000
big enough
a
as
month.
well that they could unify the
So
American
what?
people.
Is that it?
That's
That
what
was his big
presidential
surprise.
leadership can
That
do.
sucks.
like a year
That's
or
what the
something.
presidency is for.
That's garbage,
And
Yang.
that is why I'm asking for your vote.
I wanted something crazy.
Senator Kamala Harris.
I mean, he did basically grab a
It's
bag
great
of
to be
money
back
and
at
dump it on the
TSU.
audience.
So I plan on spending tonight talking with you about my plans to address the problems that keep you up at night. But first, I have a few words for Donald Trump, who we all know is watching. So, President Trump, you've spent the last 2.5 years
He's watching
full-time
who
trying
his
to sow
political
hate and
opponents might
division
be.
among us.
What a
And that
fucking...
is why
Wait,
we've
shouldn't he
got
be doing
nothing
that?
done. You have
Why the
used
fuck
hate,
wouldn't he?
intimidation, fear, and over 12,000 lies as a way to distract from your failed policies and your broken promises. The
failed
only reason
policy.
you've not been
So what are you
indicted
gonna
is
do,
because
Kamala?
there was a memo
Trump
of the Department
bad.
of Justice that says
Trump
the
bad.
president cannot
Kamala
be
Harris
president.
good.
But
Okay.
here's what you don't get. What you don't get
Oh,
is
she's
that
a
the
sassy
American
black woman,
people
TJ.
are
Snip,
so
snap.
much better than this. And we know that
This is
the
what the
vast
people want.
majority
More
of us have so
orange
much
man
more in
bad.
common than what separates us, regardless
Give
of
us
our
the
race,
orange
where we
man
live, or the party
bad,
with which
Kamala.
we're registered to
Take
vote.
us back
and
to the
I plan
ghetto.
on focusing on our common issues, our common hopes and desires,
All of
and
which
in that
are
way
Trump.
unifying our country, winning this election,
unifying our
and
country.
turning
That's
the
gonna
page
happen.
for America. And now, President Trump, you can go back to watching Fox News.
Senator Bernie Sanders.
All right, Bernie. Bernie's on. Bernie's on. Shut up, TJ.
Senator Sanders.
Bernie's on, TJ.
Let
Come on.
me be blunt and tell you what you don't hear much about in Congress or in the media.
Bernie doesn't sound
And
well.
that is, it goes without saying
All right.
that we will defeat
smoked
Trump, the
2 packs of
most
cigarettes
dangerous
before I came out
president
here.
in the history
Dude,
of
he
this
drank
country.
the red liquid from the dark sarcophagus, man.
Yeah, he
But
did.
we
He
must
sounds like I
do
did the day after
more.
your fucking
We
game.
must
That's what I'm saying.
do
Did you
more.
play this with Bernie
We
last
have got
night?
to recognize
Yeah.
that this country is moving into an oligarchic form of society where a handful of billionaires control the economic and political life of this country. And as president, I am prepared to take them on. Yes, we will raise the minimum wage to a living wage. Yes, we will finally make sure that every American has health care as a human right, not a privilege.
Boo.
And yes, we will address the catastrophic crisis of climate change and transform
Hoax, not real.
our energy system away from fossil
Mark
fuel.
Hall. Mark Hall.
Clear your throat, Bernie.
Tell that to the coal miners of West Virginia.
So I was born and raised in Oklahoma, but I'm sure glad to be in Texas tonight. All three of my brothers served
The
on
authenticity
military
just
bases
burned
here
through
in
my
Texas.
soul.
That was their ticket
Sure
to the middle
glad to be
class.
in Texas
Me,
tonight.
I got my big opportunity about a half mile down the road from here at the University of Houston, back when it cost $50 a semester. For a price that I could pay for on a part-time waitressing job, I got to finish my
so I said
four-year
I was an
degree, and
Indian.
I
That
became a
helped.
special needs teacher. And after law school, my first big job was back here in Houston. By then, I had
She's
two
giving us
little
the
kids,
fucking
and
Elizabeth
when
Warren,
childcare
dude.
nearly
She's
brought
doing
me
it on us
down,
right now.
My Aunt Bee moved in and saved
They're
us.
falling asleep.
The paths to America's middle class
Oh, they're going
have
out.
gotten a lot smaller and
Night,
a
night.
lot narrower.
One.
Today,
That's one for
service
Paul.
members are preyed upon by predatory
oh,
employers.
no.
Students
One
are
more
crushed
time.
by debt, and families cannot
that's it.
afford
That's
child
over.
care.
Ding, 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 ding,
What's
ding.
broken, I know how to fix it, and I'm
I
going to
sure
lead the
do
fight
love
to get it done.
Texas. And the winner by way of boring everyone to death, Senator
Warren.
Elizabeth
Vice President
Warren.
Joe Biden.
Peace.
You know, when President Kennedy announced the moonshot, he used a phrase that sticks with me my whole life.
He said, we're doing
when
it.
it did moonshot, he sticked in me the whole life I had.
Refused to postpone
Hold on.
more.
Let's listen for more.
Spending billions of dollars on curing cancer, Alzheimer's, and other diseases, which if we invest in them, we can find cures. I refuse to postpone giving every single child in America, no matter their zip code, pre-K all the way through high school and beyond. I refuse to postpone.
Is he Jamaican? No matter them zip code, man.
Zip code no matter. The world in taking on climate change. Look, this is the United States of America.
Really?
There's never been a single
United
solitary
States?
time.
I thought we were in China.
This is the United States of America.
Look, everybody, we're the United States of America.
Surprised. The only thing shocking about that is I can't believe Joe Biden knows where he is.
It's no longer time
We're
to
the United
postpone.
States of
We
America,
should
TJ.
get moving. There's enormous opportunities once we get rid of Donald Trump.
We got enormous opportunities.
Once we get rid of Donald Trump.
Thank
God. He
you.
had his hands all up here and
Some
shit.
of you
He was
said
into
we're
that
more
shit.
united than divided, and that is certainly true. All of you agree on one big thing. The goal of defeating President Trump, driving the country in a
they
new
can't
direction.
be president without it.
But out on the
So,
campaign trail, you have outlined big differences.
You guys
over
all
how
agree
far
that you need to
go
breathe oxygen.
and how fast to
Yes,
go.
we do.
And Vice President Biden, the differences between you and the senators on either side of you tonight.
They're a bunch of
strike at the
punk-ass
heart of
bitches.
this
That's the
primary
difference.
debate. Both Senators Warren and Sanders want to replace Obamacare with Medicare for all. You want to build on Obamacare, not scrap it. They propose spending far more than you to combat climate change and tackle student loan debt, and they would raise more in taxes than you to pay for their programs. Are Senators Warren and Sanders pushing too far beyond where Democrats want to go and where the country needs to go?
Wow. So
That would be for
such
the
a
voters
loaded
to
question.
decide that question. Let me tell you what I think. I think we should have a debate on health care. I think, I know that the senator says she's for Bernie. Well, I'm for Barack. I think the Obamacare worked. I think the way in which we add to it, replace everything that's been cut, add a public option, guarantee that everyone will be able to have affordable insurance, number one.
Assurance?
Number two,
Assurance.
I think we should
I'm sure to stop the
My
pop.
plan for health care costs a lot of money. It costs $740 billion. It doesn't cost
I think this
$30
guy's
trillion.
eyeball is about to pop out of his head.
$3.4 trillion
Something
a
like this
year, it
debate.
turns out.
I don't think this time it's not going to
twice
just
what
bleed
the
this
entire
time.
federal
I hope he
budget
sprays
is.
Bernie in the
That's
face
before
with
it
a bunch of
exists now,
blood.
without interest.
Let me tell you
How are we
something.
going to pay for it?
Oh, Lord, what's
Tonight,
happened?
How that's happened.
Oh.
So as far as
Dear
my
God, that's
distinguished
disgusting.
friend,
You're a disgusting
the senator on
individual.
the left
Under my
is not
Medicare
anything
for
else
all
to pay
plan,
for
this
it.
never would have
And
happened.
We'll fix
the
your
senator has,
nasty,
in
leaky
fact, come
eye,
forward and
Joe.
said how he's going to pay for it, but he gets about halfway there. There's a lot of other things that need to be done. I
that
have a bold
happens,
plan to
this would be the
deal with
greatest
making
day.
sure we triple the money for at-risk schools that are Title I schools from 15 to $45 billion.
Oh my
a year.
God,
But
dude, he's
without
just
going
showing
into
it.
the things we're
Where
talking
am I?
about, I lay out
Give this man
how
some
I can pay
applesauce
for
in a
it,
wheelchair.
how I can get it done, and why it's better.
Senator Warren, let me take that to you.
That
particularly
felt
on
a
what
lot
Senator
longer
Biden was
than the
saying
minute and
there,
15
about
seconds they
Yeah, it
said
really
this
did.
shit was
Wasn't
going
it
to
an
be.
hour and 15 minutes?
about his health care plan.
Rambling
The senator says that Senator
nonsense.
Sanders has
What
been
it was.
candid about the fact that middle-class taxes are going to go up and most of private insurance is going to be eliminated. Will you
Why
make
can't anybody
Can
say
no one
private
say
insurance?
insurance?
Let's be
Insurance.
clear.
Private
about
insurance.
health care.
Damn it.
Let's start where Vice President
Everyone's
did.
getting drunk to
We
watch
all
this
owe
piece of
a
shit.
huge debt to President Obama, who fundamentally transformed healthcare in America and committed
Into a
this
pile of
country to
nonsense.
healthcare for every
Thank
human
you,
being.
yes.
Yeah, no, his original plan fundamentally
And now the
transformed
question is,
healthcare in
how
America.
best can we
And then he sold it down the
improve on
river.
And I believe
After
the
the
best
Heritage
way we can
Foundation
do that
plan,
is we make sure that
give everyone
everybody
private
gets covered by
insurance.
health
Yeah,
care
which worked out
at the
real well.
lowest possible cost. How do we pay for it? We pay for it. Those at the very top, the richest individuals and the biggest corporations, are going to pay more. And middle-class families are going to pay less.
Boo.
That's how this is going to work.
Direct question. You said middle-class families are going to pay less, but will middle-class taxes go up to pay for the program? I know you believe that the deductibles and the premiums will go down. Will middle-class taxes go up? Will private insurance be eliminated?
Look, what families have to deal with is
Just say
cost.
yes.
Total cost. That's what they have to deal with. And
Say yes.
understand,
Just
families
say
are
yes.
paying for
Quit
their
running
health care
from it.
today. Families pay every time an insurance company
Elizabeth
says,
Warren
sorry,
wants
you can't
tax
see that
increases. Will
specialist.
taxes go up?
Every time
Yes.
an insurance company
That's why
says,
she's not going
sorry,
to say it.
that
I'd say
doctor
it.
is
I'd be
out
like,
of
yeah,
network.
damn
Sorry,
right.
we are not covering
Tax
that
is going to be through the
prescription.
fucking roof.
Families are
How you like
paying
that, you little fucking
every
piece of
time they
shit
don't get a
ants?
prescription
I don't
filled
like it.
because they can't pay for it. They don't have a lump checked
Pay for it
out
with
because
Yang's
they can't
UBI, you
afford the
cretins.
copay. What we're talking about
I was
here
gonna try
is
and wait
what's
to
gonna
spark
happen
this
in
until later,
families'
but I just-
pockets. What's going to happen in
Are you
their
insane,
budgets.
man?
There's
And the
absolutely
answer
no
is,
way.
Have you
on
lost your
Medicare
mind,
for all,
Paul?
Costs are
Spark
going
it
to go
immediately.
up for wealthier individuals, and costs are going to go up for giant
Hey,
corporations.
maybe I might be a
But for
wealthy individual
hardworking
someday.
families
This
across
sounds like a
country,
raw
costs are gonna go
deal.
down, and that's how it should work under Medicare for all in our health care
Senator
system.
Sanders, you were invoked by the Vice
See, there's
President.
hands
Also
up
take on that
all over the
question
board.
about taxes.
Hey, Klobuchar, don't ever put your hand up.
Put your hand down. Medicare for all will cost over $30 trillion. That's right, Joe. Status quo over 10 years will be $50 trillion. Every study done shows that Medicare for all is the most cost-effective approach to providing health care to every man, woman, and child in this country.
That's true.
I, who wrote the damn bill, if I may say so.
Okay, you can't relive the moment. That was an in-the-moment thing. You don't got to try to bring that back.
To eliminate all out-of-pocket expenses, all deductibles, all co-payments.
Boo.
Nobody in America will pay more than
Boo, pay more.
$200 a year for prescription drugs because we're going to stand up to the greed and corruption and price fixing of the pharmaceutical
Why does Joe Biden
industry.
look like he's on a different plane of existence
We need-
behind Bernie in that shot?
Because last
a
week his
healthcare
blood vessel
that
popped in his
guarantees
brain.
healthcare
He's
to
not
all
even.
people,
He's like
as
phased
every
out of our
other
reality
major
a little
country
bit.
does.
Dude, Joe Biden is on
Not
fucking
a
LSD right
system
now. He's like,
which provides
I felt like I was on
$100
LSD looking at his
billion
weird ass.
a year in
Is that
profit
old
for the
mushroom,
drug
like,
companies
saying
and
something?
the insurance companies. And to tell you how absurd the system is, tonight on ABC, the healthcare industry will be advertising, telling you how bad Medicare for all is because they want to protect their profits. That is absurd.
Vice President Biden, you were invoked.
Damn.
well, it's
You
smart
get
for
a-
him.
you get a
Well,
response
Bernie's
and we're gonna
voice
broaden out the
sounds
discussion.
weak, but his
Number
message
one,
is strong.
my healthcare
Yeah.
plan does significantly cut the cost of it. The largest out-of-pocket payment you'll pay is $1,000. You'll be able to get into a.
That's a lot of
anyone
money.
who
But
can't
I can
afford
pay
it.
for it with
You
the
just
UBI.
lost-
so-
yeah, you just lost
in
a
the Medicare
significant
type
chunk
option we have, et cetera.
of
But
people.
guess what? Of the
Look, under my
160
plan, the
million
most
people
you
who
pay
like
is
their
1,000.
You have any
healthcare
idea
now,
how many
they
people
can
in this
keep it.
fucking
If they don't like
country
it, they can leave.
can't pay a
Number one.
fucking $1,000
Number two,
out of pocket for
the fact of the
anything?
matter
Bernie
is
just
we're
said
50%.
200. You're saying
Notice
1,000.
Bernie
I mean,
said
This is
200 a
about candor.
year.
Yeah,
Honest,
for
big
drugs,
ideas.
for medicine.
Let's have a
Oh,
big
for medicine,
idea.
yes.
And nothing
The
deductible,
tax of
no
2% that
deductible,
the
no
senator's
copay.
talking about, that raises about
None of that
$3 billion.
shit.
Guess what? That leaves you about $28 billion short. The senator said before it's going to cost you in your pay. There will be a deductible in your paycheck. You're going to, the middle class person, someone making 60 grand with 3 kids, they're going to end up paying $5,000 more. They're going to end up paying 4% more on their income tax. That's a reality. Now, it's
Bullshit.
not a bad idea. If you
You're a
like it.
bullshitter.
I don't like it.
Joe,
Okay,
you're
now,
a
I wanna
fucking
really keep
liar.
the time, but you did invoke both senators. I have to get responses from them, then we
Sure,
will broaden
that's
out.
good.
Senator Warren, you go first.
So let's be clear.
Why?
I've
He
actually
went
never
directly
met
after
anybody
Bernie,
who likes their health
so-
insurance company. I've met people who like their doctors. I've met people who like their nurses. I've met people who
Bullshit,
like
I
their
love my
pharmacists.
health
I've
insurance company.
met
It's
people
great.
Who like their physical
Yeah, I love Blue Cross.
therapists.
What's this woman talking
what
about?
They want is access to
I write them
health care.
thank you letters
and we
every
just need
night.
to be clear about what Medicare for all is all about.
Thank you for providing
Instead
much
of
less
paying
than what I pay
premiums
for
into
Blue Cross Blue
insurance
Shield.
companies
Oh, you think
and
about
then
the
having
time he sniffed her
insurance
hair, he's like,
companies build their profits by saying no
God, that hair.
to coverage.
Elizabeth
We're going to do
Warren
this by
smells so
saying
good.
everyone is covered by Medicare for all. Every health care provider is covered. And the
We have
only question here in
666
terms of
viewers right
difference
now. No
is
one,
where
no
to
one, everyone
send
stay where you
the
are.
bill.
Senator
Don't
Sanders.
leave.
Let us
Don't come
be clear,
again.
Joe.
666.
In the
The
United
number
States
of
of
the
America, we are
beast.
spending
Damn
twice
right.
as much per
They
capita
more came in. Now
on
it's
health
fucked.
care
Go
as
away.
the Canadians or any other major country on earth.
This is America.
Yeah, but Americans don't want to pay twice as much as other countries. And they guarantee health care to all people. Under my
I'm mad.
Medicare for all proposal, when you don't pay out of pocket and you don't pay premiums, maybe you have run into people who love their premiums. I haven't. What people want is
I love 'em.
cost-effective health care. Medicare for all will save the average American substantial sums of money on his or her health care bill.
Senator Klobuchar, you said in your opening statement you want to represent the people.
Bernie
Klobuchar.
Yeah, who cares about it? Anyway,
on this stage?
We can just mute her.
I think you know that I don't agree with some of
Let's
these
talk about
proposals
Bernie.
up here, George.
I think you know I'm
Dude,
a stupid bitch.
These are wacky proposals.
I think that Bernie, like honestly, I was listening as much as I could through that.
Through whatever.
And I think Bernie and Warren are kind of chewing up Biden on this issue. He's looked a little out of touch a couple of times. That you're not going to hit any out-of-pocket cost more than $1,000 is just kind of seems ignorant of the lower end of the economic scale that can't afford their fucking healthcare bills. That's the point.
Yeah.
They're paying. They're showing up to go to the doctor and are sent to a specialist where they got to come out of pocket.
It looks like she's going after Bernie,
and they
so
don't have it.
I'm going to see what this is all about.
Care, and when it comes to our premiums, I go with the doctor's creed, which is do no harm. And while Bernie wrote the bill, I read the bill. And on page 8 of the bill, it says that we will no longer have private insurance as we know it. And that means that 149 million Americans will no longer be able to have their current insurance. That's in 4 years.
What do they need it for?
I don't think that's
They will not need it.
I think it's a bad
149 million
idea.
Americans.
Once
What
this
I
family
favor
gets a
is
car, they
something
won't
that
need
what
their horse and
Barack
buggy
Obama
anymore.
wanted to do
No,
from the
you know what
very
this
That's not a
is?
fucking
beginning.
tragedy,
And that is
bitch.
You know what this
a
is?
nonprofit
This is I'm
choice
AB
that will bring
I'm
down the
AB
cost of
Klobuchar,
insurance,
and I
cover 12
represent the
million more
liberals
people,
that
and
don't
bring
want to
down
have to
the
feed
prices
at the
for
same trough as everybody else and have the same health care as everybody else. I want to keep my big sparkling diamond premium plan that skips me to the head of the line at all the best institutions and shit. Fuck you. And fuck anybody that would ever advocate for keeping a private insurance industry around if there's a viable public option for everybody.
And she's a liar because all those policies have huge deductibles, huge copays, huge premiums.
They don't care,
everything.
though.
And they don't give a shit.
They're willing to pay to get
they're
to
rich.
the head of the line. Yeah, they're willing to take the fucking diamond plan and shit. They can afford that. And they want that fucking red carpet rolled out at the Mayo Clinic every time they fucking pick up the fucking phone.
And these are fucking government officials. Their shit is
You know who
so
should
good.
get to go to the Mayo Clinic? The people in the greatest need, not the people with the greatest fucking wad in their pocket.
For health care for everyone in this country.
And if they go,
Insurance
I feel like it's like Redbeard, dude. Make them pay exorbitant sums of money. Yeah, you want to go the front of the line? Donate $1 billion for a new
Fuck
hospital
this
wing.
whole the whole fucking idea that you would want capitalism involved in whether or not you get the medicine it takes to keep you alive is fucking absurd. I don't care what your angle is. Argue that for me. That there's some fucking capitalistic decision between you or your loved one and the medicine that they need. And if you don't got it in your pocket, well, mom just dies.
Oh, you know what the modern American answer to that is, Paul? GoFundMe. It's really sad, but that's the answer. And it's not just
Fucking absurd.
And it's not just people who are fucking flat ass broke. It's just any family in this country that's not exorbitantly wealthy.
Can I just say, I missed the turd.
Millions of dollars.
I missed the turd on Pete Buttigieg's face.
Oh, well, let's see what he's saying.
All right.
I trust the American people to make the right choice for them. Why don't you?
I don't.
Senator Sanders, 45 seconds.
Oh.
George, you talked about
Shit
150 million people on private insurance. 50 million of those people lose their private insurance every year when they quit their jobs or when they go unemployed or their employer changes their insurance policy. Medicare for All is comprehensive health care, covers all basic needs, including home health care. It allows you to go to any doctor you want, which many private insurance company programs do not. So if you want comprehensive health care, freedom of choice regarding doctor or hospital, no more than $200 a year for prescription drugs.
And how many people in this country are fucking slaves to their employer because that's where they get their health care from?
I mean, I know people who have jobs
Senator Harris,
just
you
for the
started
health
out
care.
co-sponsoring
It's
Senator
like
Sanders'
arguing
bill.
to be
You
made
now
a
say you're
slave to a bunch of
uncomfortable
fucking
with it. Why?
corporate
I
American
want to
fucking
give
goddamn
credit
companies.
first to Barack Obama for really bringing us this far. We would not be here if he hadn't the courage, the talent,
Oh my
or
God!
the
All
You're
you're
trying to
doing-
ride
this far.
Obama's dick.
I want to give
All right,
credit to
you
Bernie.
can't do that when Biden's on the
Take
stage
credit, Bernie.
because everyone associates
Yeah.
him with
You know,
Obama.
you
So
brought
right.
He
Going
rides
Obama's
Obama's
great.
dick
I
harder than
support
anybody.
Medicare for all.
Yeah,
I
you're not
always
going to
have,
steal
but
the
I wanted
Obama.
to
I mean,
make
maybe
the
she's
plan
trying to do it
better,
on the
which I
basis of
did,
black.
which is about offering
I'm black,
people
Obama
choice,
black.
not taking
But
that
Biden
from
was his
them.
Veep.
So,
So
under my
you're never
going to
fucking usurp that position.
People have the choice.
You're never
going to
be able to ride the
or a
Obama
public
wave
plan,
into
because
fucking
that's what
office.
People want, and I agree we shouldn't take choice from people.
Oh,
but
my
here's
God.
the thing. Everybody on this stage,
Let-
I do believe,
let idiots pay more money.
is well-intentioned and wants that all Americans have coverage and recognizes that right now 30 million Americans don't have coverage. But at least 5 people have talked, some repeatedly, on this subject, and not once have we talked about Donald Trump. So let's talk about the fact
Oh, my
that
God.
Donald Trump came into office and spent almost
Kamala.
the entire first year of his term.
Kamala, no.
You know what time to talk about Donald
No.
Trump is? On the campaign trail, and if you actually get to the
No.
debate with Donald Trump.
This is to differentiate you from everyone else on the stage, not from Trump.
Dude, the battle
We already
lines-
know you're different from Trump.
Let me be honest with you guys right now. The battle lines are drawn if you're a person that believes in the electoral system right here before your eyes. Anybody that is defending the private insurance industry is doing so because they want to create 2 classes of health care. The ones they can afford and then the ones that the plebs get that we get to underfund.
Of course.
If they have to take the same health care you have, you can bet your fucking ass it's going to be good. Because they're not going to put up with bullshit. They don't want to have to fucking sprinkle their privilege down to you. And so they're trying to convince you that this vampire of a fucking thing in your life, the insurance company,
is good.
That's constantly beating down your door for premiums and shit is a good thing. Because they're corporate shills.
Oh, what about your co-insurance, Paul? Oh, Paul, you're covered, but you're only covered to a certain amount. Oh, you have
Amy
to pay that.
Klobuchar, the corporate whore standing up there.
Yeah, because
Corporate whore in chief here.
Because these fucking people.
Please,
you're exactly
please.
right.
My
wanna
donors need me to say this.
They want to keep their platinum fucking plans where they fucking, if they give a public option, it's going to be a shit fucking option. You're exactly fucking right. Everyone should have the same basic fucking coverage and same basic option.
Of course.
How does that not make fucking sense? That's a fucking economy of scale. It makes perfect fucking sense. It happens in almost every other major industrial country in the world.
All right, let me hear from Biden.
The employer is going to give you back if you negotiate his union all these years, got a cut in wages because you got insurance. They're
God,
gonna
wait,
give that
oh,
money to
union
the
spooking.
employee?
Matter of fact,
Okay.
Well, let me tell you something. For a socialist, you got a lot more confidence in corporate America than I do.
Senator
Okay,
Sanders.
1 minute, George.
Go ahead.
All right. 2 points.
Yep.
You got to defend the fact that today, not only do we have 87 million people uninsured and underinsured, you got to defend the fact that 500,000 Americans are going bankrupt. You know why they're going bankrupt?
Oops.
Because
But they love their
suffered
insurance.
a terrible disease, cancer.
Do they
or
love
heart
it when they
disease.
fucking go
Under my
bankrupt and they lose their
legislation,
fucking house?
people will not
Do
go
they love
into
it then?
financial ruin because they suffered with a diagnosis of cancer. And our program is the only one that does that.
I know a lot about cancer. Let me tell you something.
Oh, let
It's
me tell you
personal
something.
to me.
My
Let me
son
tell you
died of
something.
cancer. Let me tell you something.
Every
I had the
single
best
person
health care in the fucking
who's
world while he
diagnosed
was
with
dying of
cancer or any
cancer.
other disease
Because I was a
can
politician while he was dying of
automatically
cancer.
become part
So
of
I
this
got
plan.
the best
They
goddamn
will
health
not
care in the
go
world.
bankrupt
And I'm
because
telling
of
you
that.
what, I want to
They
keep
will
that
not go
goddamn
bankrupt
head of the
because of that. They
line
can join the
goddamn
meeting.
health care that I got. And I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to stand up here like a big pop-eyed fucking lunatic and defend the fucking corporate cock in my mouth until my fucking eye pops out of my fucking head. You piece of... Fuck you, Biden.
Boo! Whatever he said is bullshit.
Listen, I'm grateful that we all agree about the urgency of this challenge and the fact that Donald Trump is undermining
This
the
is a
limited
waste of
protections
everybody's
that we
time
have
that
right
he's
now.
even here.
But I also think we're being offered a false choice between those who propose
All
an
right, well, the
all-or-nothing
alternative is to
gambit,
actually listen to
forcing
him.
tens of millions off of insurance that they like that works
All right,
for them
go ahead
to
and mute
force.
it. So anyway, about healthcare and stuff. So last year in gym, I got like my balls itched a lot, you know, and I told the coach, and he said that I had to go see the nurse, and like she told me to pull my underwear down, and I did, but I had a stiffy. Now listen, no, everybody listen. No, Joe, you hold on, control yourself. Now listen, she cupped my balls and put cream on them.
Everyone gets 1 minute to respond. So Senator Secretary Castro, Andrew Yang, and then Senator Booker, you all get a minute.
Thank you. And, I also want to recognize the work that Bernie has done on this.
Shut up, Julian.
We owe a debt of gratitude to President Barack Obama.
Shut up.
Of course,
what did they call it? Reverse polling order, Castro. Like you were done at the end, at the beginning, dude. They introduced you in reverse polling
and the
order,
loser
and
of the race.
You got the dishonor of going first, bro.
We're going to put these candidates in order from least relevant to most relevant.
Okay.
Starting with you, Julian Castro. Or Julian Castro.
Thank you. I love to hear
Is it Julian or Julian?
Julian, DJ.
Well, it depends.
Okay.
It depends.
I think it's Julian is how they usually say it.
You must call
but
me
it's
Julian.
Julian.
He would not be
support
Julian.
Vice President Biden is that you require them to opt in, and I would not require them to opt in. They would automatically be enrolled. They wouldn't have to buy in. That's a big difference because Barack Obama's vision was not to leave 10 million people uncovered. He wanted every single person in this country covered. My plan would do that. Your plan would not.
They do not have to buy in. They do not have to buy in.
You just said that. You just said that 2 minutes ago. You just said 2 minutes ago that they would have to buy in. You said they would have to buy in.
Have to buy in. If she qualifies for
Are you
Medicaid,
forgetting what you said 2 minutes ago?
Yes, he is.
Oh,
okay.
What you said?
All right. Okay. I'm gonna give Julian a point there, dude.
Dude, the fucking reverse.
He actually had the balls to play the fucking. Are you going senile, bitch?
Yeah.
All right.
10 points to Julian.
Oh, okay. Who's getting pissed?
You're
automatically
enrolls people.
Get pissed.
Regardless of whether they choose to opt in or not. If you lose
Oh
your
my
job,
God, I want
for
that
instance,
eye.
His
I
healthcare
wanna
plan
see
would
that
not
eye
automatically
pop the
enroll
fuck
you.
out,
You would have
dude.
to opt in. My healthcare plan would. That's a big difference. I'm fulfilling the legacy of Barack Obama, and you're not.
I'll be surprised to him.
Be a surprise to him. He hasn't endorsed you, bitch.
This is why
Snip,
politics
snap.
are
Hold on.
becoming unwatchable.
Yeah.
This
we're on the same
reminds
team.
everybody of what they cannot stand about Washington. Scoring points against each other, poking at each other, and telling each other that you're my plan, your plan. Look, we all
That's
have
called a
different
Democratic
visions for
primary
what is
election.
better about
That's
our
called an election. That's an election. This is what we're here for. It's an election.
Yeah, but a house,
Oh, entertainment and bullshit?
cannot stand.
Oh, shut up, Amy.
Oh, don't bring on.
Oh,
my
you
God,
got any more
Lincoln.
wisdom from that fucking book you keep by the
Abraham
shitter?
Lincoln said
Oh, my
that.
God. Klobuchar.
Hold on.
And I believe we're talking about this the wrong way. As someone who has run a business, I know that our current healthcare system makes it harder to hire people, makes it harder to give them benefits and treat them as full-time employees. You instead pretend they're contractors. It's harder to change jobs. It's certainly harder to start a business. The pitch we have to make to the American people is we will get the healthcare weight off of your backs and then unleash the hopes and dreams of the American people.
Senator Booker.
Now, I am Asian, so I know a lot of doctors. And they tell me that they spend a lot of time on paperwork, avoiding being sued, and navigating the insurance bureaucracy. We have to change the incentives so instead of revenue and activity, people are focused on our health in the healthcare system. And the Cleveland Clinic, where they're paid not based upon how many procedures they prescribe, shocker, they prescribe fewer procedures, and patient health stays the same or improves. That is the pitch to the American people.
Senator Booker, close out this discussion.
Thank you very much. Look, there are a lot of people watching at home right now, listening to us, that are afraid because they are in crisis. They don't have health insurance. Their health insurance
Andrew
doesn't
Yang
go
just
far
feels like
enough.
he's from another fucking world.
Yeah.
The shit he's saying, it's like,
and sometimes not in a good way.
Yeah, it's just like he's just fucking. He's I mean, like he's not even part of the discussion, really.
No.
He's just like, all right, I'm gonna now deliver my unrelated to anything that you've heard speech.
You know what, though?
On this issue.
He's like the weird Asian kid that just showed up to the debate. They said, you know what, get on the stage. You kind of like that.
Oops.
You also have to give him credit, TJ. He's not just saying what everyone else is saying. So I mean, at least
that's what I was trying to say.
I mean, no, I understand that's what you were saying.
So-
but I give him credit for that. I might not agree with him entirely, but
Be a moment where we as Democrats can begin to show.
Paul, what were you saying?
So kind of like Pete Buttigieg was kind of building to what I thought was a good point, but Julian Castro shut him the fuck down, dude.
He did, dude.
I don't really think he made a good point, but like Buttigieg didn't get to finish. So Castro scored points against Buttigieg, and dude, you got to give it to him.
Yeah, he's strong. He's shown a little bit more fire on the stage tonight. Kind of like reminds me of what Kamala was doing on the first time we saw her, and never again since. And Booker, I mean, just
Booker's.
go away.
I don't know why Booker's here.
Go away.
I think this is really just a racist profile.
Since we're here at an HBCU, I'd like to start with young black voters. Several recent polls indicate their #1 concern is racism. This campus, this state, and this nation are still raw from that racially motivated attack on Latinos in El Paso. Now, we know that the racial divide started long before President Trump and President Obama, but each of you on this stage has said that President Trump has made that divide worse. Congressman O'Rourke, coming to you first, why are you the most qualified candidate to address this divide?
Oh, shit. Me?
You know, I called this out in no
You're
uncertain
gonna try to speak in
terms
Spanish right now?
on August 3rd and every day since then, and I was talking about it long before then as well. Racism in America is endemic. It is foundational. We can mark the creation of this country not at the 4th of July, 1776, but August 20th, 1619, when the first kidnapped African was brought to this country against his will and in bondage.
Oh my
and
God!
as a
Can you
slave,
pander any harder,
built the greatness-
please?
Vote for me. Vote for me.
It sucks.
Vote
dude.
for me.
I hate this whole question line. I really don't care what the answer to this whole question line is, dude. The racial
you're a
divide
racist.
is so largely built on the economic divide. The conversation that was just going on was one of actual substance in this country, and this is just fucking ID politics.
Yeah, this is just fee politics where it's just let's go make everyone feel good. Like, this is, you know what, I'm going to validate every feeling you have on this issue and tell you how we're going to fix that problem. It's a cultural problem. It's not something that's going to just shift when someo's elected into political
and
office.
it's never going to fucking shift in any positive way unless we lift the economic burden that's on the lower economic bracket, a lot of which include minorities.
Oh, yeah. Just look at the fucking net worth of each racial group in this country. And it's fairly evident to see that.
Oh, man, it's just
For
so
how well
stupid
he's
that we have to
spoken,
listen to the circus.
the passion and the frustration and the sadness after what happened in his hometown of El Paso. He's done a great job.
Oh, you
Look,
gotta pepper them. El Paso.
El Paso.
A few weeks ago,
El Paso.
a shooter
¿Qué pasó, El
10 miles
Paso?
inspired by this 10 hours inspired by this president to kill people who look like me and people who look like my family.
Out in the
supremacy is a
West
growing
Texas
threat
town
to
of
this
El
country.
Paso.
And we have to
Driving 10 hours, killed Julian Castro
look a
lookalikes.
plan to disarm hate.
Apparently. Oh, man.
They look
This
just like
is-
him and his family.
Man, when they brought up the race topic, I'm just like, man, okay, prepare for a fucking
Does that make me
slog.
like because I'm not insensitive to the racial problem,
Right, but I mean, like,
But this just feels like a vampiric way of exploiting it,
It
not
is.
addressing it.
It
yeah,
is.
that's exactly right. I don't know.
'Cause I got to be honest with you, man. I've seen people at the lower economic bracket, and there's a lot of them turn to crime, and it doesn't matter what color they are. Like, when it comes to liberating people from the ills of society where they can't afford health care, they can't find a fucking job, you have to liberate them economically within this system. If you ever want that divide to start healing. That's probably something you won't hear from any of these fucking people up here.
Maybe we'll be
I
surprised.
mean, Bernie might say it.
And
Let's
this
see
is
what
not
Booker's
just an issue
saying.
that started yesterday. It's not just an issue that we hear a president that can't condemn white supremacy. We have systemic racism that is eroding our nation.
No.
From healthcare to the criminal
No,
justice
we actually
system.
don't, dude. No, we don't. We don't have systemic racism eroding our nation right now.
He said from his vantage point of white male privilege.
I'm just saying, like, the problem is so reduced when you call it, yes, are there hillbillies around that still hate them some blacks and hate them some Mexicans? Or are there some Mexican people that hate them some whites and hate them some blacks? Yes.
Yeah,
Is there
of course.
racial problems? Yes. You know what the overarching problem is? People are dirt fucking poor and can't support themselves.
Struggling for everything in this country.
And struggling for
Not only
every
that,
dollar.
The heyday of American racism is clearly fucking behind us at this point. I mean, it's just ridiculous to say that that's
just so
like
tired
When
of
people
fucking
people are
hearing it.
struggling, if they have kids, they're struggling to pay for childcare because that cost is going up. The cost of having insurance and healthcare has gone up. The cost of fucking goods and services has gone up. Everything is going up. Income levels for the average person have stayed fucking flat. So you're exactly right. That is the main fucking issue here.
All right, I want to see what beat Buttigieg is going to say.
What's deepened divisions in the country is the conduct of this president, and we have a chance to change all of that.
God.
Look,
It's not the
systemic
conduct of the
racism
president.
preceded this president, and
represents
even when we defeat
a group
him,
of people.
it will be with
That's what
us.
it
That's
fucking
why we
problem
need a systemic approach to dismantle it.
We need a systemic approach to the system.
Pete Buttigieg, how are you going to do away with every racist in America? What's your plan?
We're going to round them up in concentration camps.
Unless that's your plan, it's not going to fucking work because Trump has a fucking massive amount of support in this country. And if you think you're going to take all those people and just suddenly make them, oh, well, you know what? I want a bunch of Mexicans in America
You know what,
now.
dude? I was watching some
Dusty Smith,
What are
you
those
were
things called? Those
you were
TED
you
Talks.
Remember when Dusty said that
Fuck
Martin
Dusty.
Luther King Jr. He celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday by eating watermelon on Facebook and got banned for a few days.
Yeah.
I hope that Pete Buttigieg's death squads round up Dusty on that basis, and he tries to plead that he's changed.
I'm woke now. Guys, I'm woke. Please believe me.
Buttigieg squad, open up.
Buttigieg squad.
You were found guilty of systemic racism.
The Booty
Investing in
Boys.
HBCUs that are training and educating the next
Man, the establishment tried so hard to make Pete Buttigieg a thing, man. So hard.
Yeah. It just
And
it
it
ain't
never
gonna
happened.
happen.
They're still pushing it for some reason. They're obviously not pushing it as hard as they were, but man, he
The
sucks.
Buttigieg boys just ain't loud enough, you know?
Yeah.
They haven't shown up in the way they needed to.
Criminal justice reform. Senator Harris, you released your plan for that just this week, and it does contradict some of your prior positions. Among them, you used to oppose the legalization of marijuana. Now you don't. You used to oppose outside investigations of police shootings. Now you don't. You've said that you changed on these and other things because you were, quote, swimming against the current, and thankfully the currents have changed. But when you had the power, why didn't you try to effect change then?
Oh, shit.
She didn't want to swim against the current, so you want something that goes along like a little fish in the fucking stream?
There have been, I'm glad you asked me this question, and there have been
Snap.
many distortions of my record. Let me be very clear.
many
Distortions
I
of
made
my
a decision
record.
to become a prosecutor for 2
Look, if you
reasons.
read my record, it seems
One,
distorted.
I've always wanted to protect people and keep them safe.
Lie.
And second, I
Wait,
was
explain
born
how your record's been
knowing
distorted.
about how this
We
criminal
did a show
justice
on
system
you.
in America has
I don't
worked
feel
in
like
a
we
way that has been
distorted your
informed by
record in
racial
order to
bias.
find that there was some
And I could
problems
tell you
with what you
extensively about the
represent, at least from our
experiences
vantage
I and my
point.
family members have personally had.
Cop Mala.
But I made a decision that if I was going to have the ability to reform the system, I would try to do it from the inside. And so I took on the position that allowed me, without asking permission, to create one of the first in
And
the
it's so
nation.
cool. The cool thing about changing the system
initiatives
from
that was
within
a
is you get to
model
get
and became a
super
national
powerful
model
and
around
shit in the
people who were
process,
arrested
and
for drugs and
rich
getting
and
them
stuff.
jobs.
Yeah.
I created one
It's
of
always
the first
cool.
in the
But look,
nation
I
That's the
realized,
plus.
I realized
that a state law
outside the system, I couldn't do
enforcement
shit,
would
TJ.
have to wear
But as an
cameras and keep
insider,
them on
I
full
could.
time. I created one of the
But I
first in the
didn't.
nation.
So I'm lying.
Trainings
But people are
for police
distorting that.
officers
I
on the
realized
issue
the
of
best
racial
way to stop
bias
the
and the
orgy
need
was to
reform
join
the
it.
system.
I mean, it's
Was I
brilliant.
able to get enough
Why didn't I
done?
think of that before?
Absolutely not. But my plan has been
Paul,
described
the best
by
way to beat
activists
corruption
as being
is
a
to become
bold
corrupt
and
yourself.
comprehensive plan
So then you
that is
corrupt,
about ending
and then you know
massive
how it's
incarceration,
done, then you
about
stop
taking
it.
the profit out of the
Yeah.
criminal justice system.
Amen.
I plan on shutting down for-profit prisons on day one. It will be about what we need to do
I heard California just did that, actually.
to hold law enforcement, including prosecutors, accountable. And finally, my plan is about making sure that in America's criminal justice system, we de-incarcerate
hold
women and
prosecutors
children, that we end solitary confinement, and that
responsible?
we work
That
on
doesn't make any
keeping
sense.
families
The
intact.
branches of
And
the
as
government are supposed to be
President of the
separated.
United States,
So you can't just
knowing
suddenly
the
have-
system from the inside,
I mean, that's not
I will
how it's
have
supposed
the
to work.
ability to be an effective leader and get this job complete.
does now.
Thank you, Senator Harris. Senator Klobuchar, during your 8 years as
Klobuchar.
a prosecutor in Minnesota, there were dozens of incidents where black men were killed by police. Critics say
Why
that
were you
too
holding the
often
gun?
you sided with police in these cases. The ACLU's legal director in Minnesota has said that you showed no interest in racial justice. Do you wish now that you had done more?
That's not my record. We are here.
How's it
at a
not?
historically-
I always like
Wait a minute.
that.
That's not my record. All right, so you described like the ACLU said this. Like, there's specific
Not me.
charges in there.
Look, who's name on
Like-
there? Oh, see, that's not my name.
So the ACLU director didn't say that. Well, he did, but he's a lying fuck.
Don't you love when you're in politics, you suddenly have a record and shit? It's like, here's your record. Like,
She's just the representative of the fucking boot of corporatism, dressed as a fucking savior, trying desperately to make a corporatist message stick. She sucks. She walks away from everything she's ever talked about.
They should get someone with charisma to do this shit.
I mean, I know, honestly, but that's just not the way it works.
Like, get Samuel L. Jackson on the corporate payroll.
You know how many,
get his ass out there.
Dude, corporations don't know how to do charisma. I'm being dead honest, dude. I worked for corporations for a long fucking time. I worked for one of the corporations that people might consider one of the more charismatic corporations, Starbucks. And let me tell you, dude, everything they thought they did for the people that it was involved in, like, enriching their social lives together, like all these get-togethers they all sucked. They had no idea how to, like, reward people in that way. The corporate mind doesn't think that way. Amy Klobuchar probably is charismatic if you got her in a room full of your average fucking top-of-the-rung billionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Ooh, she spits my own shit back in my face real good.
To the Second Step Act, which means the 90% of people that are incarcerated in local and state jails, let's reduce those sentences for nonviolent offenders, and let's get them jobs and let them vote when they get out of prison.
Thank you, Senator.
Let them vote when they're in prison.
I believe that the war on drugs has put
Well, hold on.
Americans
Did they not
behind
become
bars.
American
Vice
citizens?
President
Like, on what? How do you disenfranchise a person in prison?
So you think the Unabomber should have been allowed to vote?
Abso-fucking-lutely. What's Ted Kaczynski's one vote in the giant fucking scheme of things?
Nothing.
It's nothing.
I left and became a public defender because
Please
my
fuck
state was
this
under
up.
siege.
I wanna hear
When
this
Dr.
gaff,
King
dude.
was assassinated, we were occupied by the National Guard for 10 months. I've been involved from the beginning.
Like, call
As a
Martin
young
Luther
congressman-
King
as a young,
Jr. Rodney King or
councilman,
something.
I introduced legislation to try to keep them putting a sewer plant in the poor neighborhood. I made sure that we dealt with
Oh, my
redlining.
God.
Banks should have to lend
Here
where
we go.
they operate, et cetera. The fact of the matter is that what's
Et cetera,
happened
et
is
cetera,
that
you
we're
know.
in a situation now where
Et
there
cetera,
are
et cetera,
so
blah,
many
blah,
people
blah. I love the
who are
doggy.
in
Look,
jail,
I was the
shouldn't be
vice
in jail.
president
The whole
for a
means by
while,
which
a
this
black
could
president.
change
You know,
is
whatever.
the
I mean, I'm
whole
good. I
mindset
like the
change. We
darkies.
should
They're
be talking
good
about
people.
Rehabilitation. Nobody should be in jail for a nonviolent crime. As when we were in the White
Really?
House, we
I don't know. It
released
depends. If you defraud
36,000
like
people
people
from
of like
the federal
$100
prison
billion,
system.
maybe you should
Nobody
be in jail. That's not a violent
for
crime
drug
necessarily.
problem. They should be going directly to a rehabilitation. We build more rehabilitation centers.
Fraud
not prison.
rehabilitation?
I'm the guy
Scams
that put in
rehabilitation?
the drug courts to divert people from the criminal justice system. And so we have to change the whole way we look at this. And we put
I gotta
people in
take a
prison,
dump.
we have to equip them
Go
to
ahead,
when
take
they
a
get
dump.
out.
I'm
Nobody
that
is
dump.
I'm not surprised
in
Joe
prison
Biden
for
made you wanna take a shit,
marijuana,
though.
For example, immediately upon being released, they shouldn't be in there for that should be a misdemeanor. They should be out, and their record
should be walking around. They
expunged.
should be
Every single
Oh, and
word
I-
should be returned.
I had a great
when
chocolate
you
cake
finish
today.
your term in prison, you should
It was
be able
moist
not
and
only
smooth.
vote, but have access to Pell Grants, have access to be able to get housing, have access to be able to move along the way. I've laid out a detailed plan along those lines. And the fact is, we've learned so much more.
Thank
about,
you, Mr. Vice
Thank
President.
You.
What are the details?
Senator-
That wasn't that bad. I mean, as an answer anyway.
Yeah, for Uncle Joe, that
I mean,
wasn't too bad.
for a vision for criminal justice reform, I would say that was all right.
Dude, Cory Booker knows what's
a
up,
little
TJ.
light on specifics, but
drugs. But if you're African American, you're almost 4 times more likely to be arrested and incarcerated, destroying your lives. And so much of this comes down to privilege. We have a criminal justice system that Brian Stevenson says treats you better if you're rich and guilty than if you're poor and innocent.
that's true.
And so
yeah,
I have
100%.
challenged this whole field. We can specifically and demonstratably now show that there are 17,000
if you want to argue the
people
existence of rich
unjustly
privilege to
incarcerated
me,
in
I'm
America,
okay with that.
And all of us should come
I
forward
object
and
when it's
say,
white
when we are
privilege.
president of the United
100%
States, when
exists.
I am
But when
president
it's
of the United
like
States,
when
we
you're
will
talking about
release
rich
them. Let me be
privilege, I've
specific.
seen that.
I joined together and led in the United
I
States
know
Senate,
about that
the only
shit.
major
If you get a
bipartisan
DUI and
bill
you're rich,
passed under this
there's a
president
guy
for
that's like
criminal justice
there's
reform
a talk
that
on
has
like
already
YouTube
led
or
to
something where he basically just lays out like all the things you can do if you're wealthy. It's like, oh, you can challenge the equipment the test was done on. You can challenge this. You can go challenge the statement the cops made. You can go through they have so many legal challenges. Like there was actually a news anchor around here about 10 years ago, and my friend was actually on trial for DUI. So I actually went and saw this like local famous news anchor on trial. And, like, his lawyer was like, oh, it's not going the way I want. You can just tell what the court was kind of going. The state trooper seems like they're telling the truth. The video kind of shows you swerving. And it's like, we need a continuance for other things and to test the veracity. And the judge is like, oh, all right. You know? And, like ultimately, the guy got a deal, dude. Ultimately, he got a deal because he just kept going back and fighting and fighting and fighting. And eventually, the state's like, you know what? We'll just settle. You have to go to a fucking drug diversion program or something. Instead of most people that fucking... But you know what? Most people don't have $100,000, $200,000 to spend fighting and defending themselves legally, so of course they're not going to have that opportunity.
Absolutely.
right here in the hall tonight.
Should we have a right to competent lawyers? Maybe that should be a
Well, you
thing.
supposedly do it in the Constitution.
26 people died in that school.
That you
20
actually-
of them
practically you
children.
don't.
First
Pragmatically
graders
you don't.
Public
today.
defenders are way underfunded.
At the time, there was a groundswell in this country to get something done. President Obama asked you to lead the push for gun control. You have often pointed to your ability to reach across the
Control
aisle
those
to get
goons. There's
things
too many
done.
goons.
But
Too many
4 months after
goddamn
Sandy Hook,
goons.
a measure
Some
to
goons
require
knocked over my
expanded
trash can
background checks
again. God
died
damn
on
it,
the Senate
Obama, what are you
floor.
doing?
If you couldn't get it done after Sandy Hook, why should voters give you another chance?
Because it got done before. I'm the only one up here who's ever beat the NRA. Only one ever beat the NRA nationally. I'm the guy that brought the Brady bill into focus and became law. And so that's number one. Number two, after Sandy Hook, a number of things happened. It went from a cause to a movement. Look what's happened now. Mothers, the organization, Mothers Against Violence, gun violence. We've seen what's happened again. Now we have
These
all these young
organizations,
people
Mothers
marching
Against
on Washington,
Violence.
making sure that things are going to change. There has been a
Let's
sea
do
change.
neckbeards
Those
against
proposals
asteroids
I
or
put
something.
forward for the president
Asteroids,
had
we're
50%
taking a stand against asteroids.
If
an asteroid comes to Earth, I'm going to tell it, fuck off, go
overwhelmingly
away.
less of the
We
people
don't want
supporting
you on this
Now the
planet.
numbers are
It's a
much higher
movement.
because they realize
Neckbeards
what I've been
against
saying, what we've all been
asteroids.
saying is correct.
Nah.
Over 90%
Keep
of the
that
American people
asteroid away
think
from
we have
me.
to get assault
Paul,
weapons
will you
off
join
the
neckbeards
street,
against
period.
asteroids,
And we have
Paul?
to get buybacks and get them
Dude,
out
Paul's
of the basement.
down. See, we have a
So
fucking
the
winning
point is,
organization
things
already.
have changed, and things have changed a lot. And now
Yeah,
what's happening is, and by the way, the way Beto handled, excuse me for saying Beto, what Congressman...
That's all right. Beto's good.
The way he handled what happened in his hometown is meaningful. To look in the eyes of those people, to see those kids, to understand those parents, you understand the heart.
Pass the baton of corporate bullshit down to Beto.
You did bring up assault weapons here.
I guess the crowd really likes that remark.
Many of you on the stage have talked about executive orders.
Beto did a real good
Senator
job.
Harris, you have said that you would take executive action on guns within your first 100 days, including banning imports of AR-15 assault weapons.
Yeah, that won't work.
President Obama, after Sandy Hook, more than 23 executive actions, and yet here we all are today.
President,
In
did he
recent
say
days,
President
former
Bill
Vice
Obama?
President
Bill Obama.
Bill
Obama.
Talented people.
I like
Did I hear that?
I
don't know.
They said,
Bill
I'm going to issue an
Obama.
exec-
And my
I said that
President
Bill
Bill Obama. You can't. Yeah, 20 million executives.
President Bill Obama?
Did I want to meet President Bill
Did I hear
Obama?
that right?
Dude, I would have voted for Bill Obama
Another
any
point
day
there.
of the week,
Some
dude.
things you can, many things you can't.
Bill Obama.
Let the senator answer.
Well, I mean, I would just say, hey, Joe, instead of saying no, we can't, let's say yes, we can.
Kamala, did you smoke a fat joint?
Bleh. Awful.
Everybody
Awful.
is fucking wasted tonight. This is the drunk debate. Clearly.
The way that I think
Listen,
about this
listen,
is,
Listen.
I've seen
Listen, how about
autopsy
instead of no, we
photographs, and I
can't,
care
yes,
to
we
tell you.
can.
I love you, Joe.
I have
I love
attended
you.
more police
We
officer
can't.
funerals than I care to tell you.
Let me ask you
have
this,
hugged
Kamala.
more
How
mothers
about you come over
of
here and
homicide
suck my
victims
dick?
Than I care to tell you.
No, I can't.
come
why
on
don't you
over
say
here.
yes, you
The
can.
idea that we would wait for this Congress, which has just done nothing
Nothing.
to act, is just it is overlooking the fact that every day in America,
I think Paul's right. I think they're all drunk.
School to have drills,
maybe we're all just fucked
elementary,
up,
middle,
dude.
and high school
Yeah,
students.
this is either the
where
drunk
they are
or
learning
stoned
about
debate,
how
but
they
they
have
sound
to
more drunk than
hide
stoned.
in a closet,
President Bill
crouch in
Obama
a
just
corner
came
if
out.
there is a mass shooter roaming the hallways of
And
their
she just
school.
seems
I
she's
was
like talking a little
about this at
slower
one
than
of
I
my
feel like she
town
normally
halls,
talks.
And
There's
this
mass
child, it was an
shooter
8 years old
in
probably,
the hallway.
came up to me,
Well,
it was
yeah.
just
Hey,
between
what
the
she-
two of
you
us.
know,
I
I
mean,
tucked in my
I
jacket
think I'd
and
hide in
said,
the closet. But if there's
I
no
had to have one
closet,
of
I'd
those
probably get under a
drinks.
desk. It's like, what
It
the
is
fuck is this?
traumatizing our children. El Paso.
But what about President
and
Bill
Beethoven,
Obama?
God
Bill
love you
Obama.
for standing so courageously.
President
in
Bill
the midst
Obama,
of
you talking about?
You know, people asked me.
President Bill
in El
Obama.
The
Paso, he said,
44th president, Bill Obama, remember?
Yeah, I
well, do you
remember
think
him.
Trump is responsible for what happened? And I said, well, look, I mean, obviously he didn't pull the trigger, but he's certainly been tweeting out the ammunition.
Maybe he did. Was anyone there? Did anyone see?
Senator Harris, thank you.
I think Trump is right through the building.
And I think President Bill Obama
The question
destroyed.
speak to
Dude,
constitutional
what is happening
scholars.
before our eyes?
If in fact we could say, by the way, you
Dude,
can't own the
it's the
following
slow motion
weapons,
destruction
period.
of our
They
country,
cannot be
dude.
sold
It's
anymore.
beautiful.
Check with constitutional scholars. Now, you
Mr. Vice
can't
President,
check.
thank you.
could I tell you
Congressman
what you
O'Rourke, I
could
want to
do
come
in
to you on
100
this.
days?
I'm going
Can I
to work down the
respond?
road here, but I do want to
bullshit.
come to Congressman O'Rourke because I know this is personal to you. El Paso is your hometown. Some on this stage have suggested a voluntary buyback for guns in this country. You've gone further. You said, quote, Americans who own AR-15s and AK-47s will have to sell them
I've
to
only
the
heard
government.
Yang speak
all of
once
them.
in this fucking
You know
debate.
the critics call this confiscation.
Well, I
Are
missed
you
the first time he
proposing
talked, so I guess
taking
he's
away their
spoken
guns, and
twice.
how would this work?
I am, if it's a weapon that was designed to
From
kill
my
people.
cold dead hand. That TJ, I tell you what, they
If
try to take your guns, you
the
give them the
high-end-
bullet.
Man, they should let Yang fucking talk, dude.
Andrew Yang will be like,
I want to hear Andrew Yang.
I'm going to give people lots of money so they're not going to want to shoot other people up. Thank you.
The UBI will solve guns.
I guarantee
It'll solve everything.
That's probably what he's going to say.
$1,000 a month. You really want to shoot people when you got $1,000 a month?
Probably not. You're like, you know what? I'm going to get the $1,000 next month. I'm going to buy some fucking cool shit.
So many other people were shot by that AR-15 in Odessa and Midland. There weren't enough ambulances to get to them in time. Hell yes, we're going to take your AR-15, your AK-47. We're not going to allow it to be used against our fellow Americans anymore.
Congressman, thank you.
Hey, Beta, what about all those mass shootings that happen with handguns, though? You take
I'm
those
listening
too?
to the people of this
Take
country
'em all.
the day after I
Take 'em
proposed
all.
I mean, if you're
I
going
went
to
to a
regulate
gun
guns
show
and restrict
in
them, you might as well
Conway,
restrict them as
Arkansas,
much as humanly
to meet
possible.
with those who are selling AR-15s and AK-47s and those who are buying those weapons. And you might be surprised, there was some common ground there. Folks who said, I would willingly give that up, cut it to pieces. I don't need this weapon to hunt, to defend myself. It is a weapon of war. So let's do the right thing, but let's bring everyone in America into the
Okay.
conversation.
I call bullshit on that. I can't think of anyone with an AR-15 who's like, man, you know, I'd be open to getting rid of it. No, gun people fucking love their guns. They think it's like a right. I mean, I guess it is, but they think it's like a natural right, like inherently or something. Like not just in the Constitution, but it's like to the core of their being, they need that fucking gun.
I'm no gun nut, but I don't want to just fucking. I don't have to give up my AR-15. I'm not going to do any mass shootings.
So what gun nut is he talking about that's like, oh, yeah, sure. Want to take my gun, Mr. Government? Here you go.
Dude, and all the real gun nuts I know, there ain't no fucking way, dude. They're not saying, you know what? Take my gun away from me.
You can have my gun when you pass reasonable legislation against it.
Yeah,
I've
go
never
ahead.
heard that. I've heard cold dead hands is what I've fucking heard.
Same here.
I mean, I don't know. How much of that is just bravado, though?
I don't know.
How much of that... I mean, I know there are some people where
There's
it's not at
definitely-
all.
There's definitely some
But,
Clive and Bundys and shit out there. you
like,
know?
how much of that is just...
For a lot of these people, yes, I agree.
But I mean, here's the problem with that is that
But you don't
all
know.
the laws and like the Supreme Court would have
Till
to
push
change.
comes to shove. You don't really fucking know.
It would have to. Our country, the shape of our country would have to change significantly, and the interpretation of the Constitution would
Do you
have
ever
to
find
change
it funny
significantly.
that that's the only group of people who gets to get away with saying, like, if you try to change a law, I
I'll
will
kill
like,
you.
kill people?
Well, they got guns, so I mean, of
I know,
course.
right?
You know, if you all, it's like if you have a
I
bunch
love
of guns.
I love the fucking, like, we're a nonviolent group of people. Why are you trying to take our guns?
Well, we got guns.
If you do that, we'll try to kill you. It's like, what? Wait a minute.
I thought you weren't violent.
I'm getting some mixed fucking messages from you, gun guy.
Well, they don't want to be violent, but you're going to force them to.
You're going to force them. I don't fucking say I'm going to kill people if legislation doesn't happen my way.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
if there's no Medicare for all, then there will be death for all. You know, like, no one else gets away with that shit.
I mean, having an AR-15, I have an AR-15, but I mean, I guess if a law was passed, yeah, I'm not going to go out and be like, from my cold dead hands. I'm like, well, I guess I don't have this anymore. I'm not going to fucking go and.
Yeah, right. You're just going to hide it somewhere is what you're going to do.
Spirited away in the
that
attic.
wouldn't be, no, I wouldn't, dude. That gun
That,
was
I lost that years ago.
Overwhelmingly, the majority
Who
of
can
Americans,
say?
83%
Down
of
the
Americans
bio.
agree
Slipped
with
out
the
of my
licensing.
hands while I was hunting
This
gator.
is the issue. Look,
Never
I grew
saw
up
it
in the
again.
suburbs. It was
I couldn't tell you its whereabouts to this day.
Now, I could take you to a couple of spots where it might have been, but you just, it's been so many years ago that it slipped out of my hand on the bio that, you could go dredging for it. I'm sure it might still be down there.
I would.
rusted to
No, you
shit,
know what, Paul? That's a horrible lie. I would comply with all laws.
Of course.
like
Of course.
Beto
And so
O'Rourke
would so
killing
many
such
of
college
other,
now,
and so
and
many,
coming
so many
forward
other
and
people
also
would
now
do the
supporting
same.
licensing.
That's why, like, look,
But
dude,
this-
when it comes to guns,
This is what I'm sorry about. I'm sorry.
within the current system, here's my fucking gun fix for everything. And gun people hate this. I don't know why. You have to up the standard for who can get a gun and how they can get it. You have to have universal background checks to make sure that the person getting the gun is not a fucking psycho. And you have to make sure that before somebody can get a gun, they've gone through the same amount of like rigors and training and bullshit that you have to like drive a car. And they have to get licensed. Like they have to drive a car. And every couple of years, you got to go and retake the test and make sure that your competency is up. And the big change that needs to happen is people need to be responsible for their weapons. That weapon ends up in the hands of a criminal and the criminal kills somebody. You're not a murderer, but you need to be held responsible for not securing that weapon properly. Because nobody should be able to break into your house and reach into a drawer and grab a fucking gun. If you can't agree to secure the weapons when they're in your house so that people can't get them easily.
Yeah, but I mean...
licensing, then fuck you.
Aren't a lot of people just going to
I don't want you having a gun.
Aren't a lot of people just going to claim at that point that the gun was in a safe and they broke into the safe?
Call that my well-organized militia principle. If you want, we can call it a militia license. How's that?
A militia license. I love it.
Looking to lead a movement.
Wow, Cory Booker's still talking? I thought there was time limits on these
Blah,
fuckers.
blah, 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 blah. It's just on and on with these fucking losers, man. Trim the fat. Trim the lard off the ends of this bitch. Get to that prime center cut.
Andrew Yang is in 6th place in this fucking election, right? So why am I not heard from Andrew Yang?
Because
Let's hear more from Cory Booker.
I feel like I haven't heard from Bernie for an age as well.
Let's hear from Booker. What does Booker have to say? Blah, 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 blah.
Dude, I just want to see a fucking debate between Andrew Yang and Bernie Sanders, because that's like, to me, those are the two competing visions I'm actually interested in fucking hearing about. Biden's vision and it's basically like Biden and the little Biden wannabe clones
can go have their own debate.
Yeah, like just choose one of you. Then the progressive people can choose one of them.
Republicans.
I guess we're
going
to
to
hear from Elizabeth Warren.
What can you get done on gun control?
So let's start by framing the problem the right way. We have a gun violence problem in this country. The mass shootings are terrible, but they get all the headlines. Children die every day on streets, in neighborhoods, on playgrounds. People die from violence, from suicide and domestic abuse. We have a gun violence problem in this country.
Yes.
And we agree on many steps we could take to fix it. My view on this is it's not going to be one and done on this.
Why is it the stoner neckbeard sitting 2 chairs away from me has more insightful things to say about this than any of the people running for president?
Because nobody's actually talking about the problem. I mean, honestly, gun violence is down. Mass violence is up. The reason is crazy people with guns.
Well, most gun deaths are from suicide. Suicide is the #1 fucking thing a gun is used to kill another person with or kill yourself with. I mean, obviously.
It's the easiest thing to kill yourself with, for sure.
I mean, but that's
way
#1.
easier and more reliable than pills or
a lot of people just use a
jumping
fucking
off something really high or whatever.
Yeah, they use a firearm. That's the majority of gun deaths, right there.
Yeah, if you like jump off of something, you got to deal with the scary ass fall.
Mass
and
shootings,
shit.
yes,
Gotta
100%.
climb up something high.
Dude, mass shootings are definitely up. Paul is correct on that as well. And no one has any real answers, and it's probably because nothing's really been done. The status quo has just been maintained. Nothing's really changed in this regard. Some bullshit like bump stocks are banned now or something, I guess. Maybe.
I never even fucking heard of a goddamn bump stock until they were banned.
It's the industry, and we've got to change Congress so it doesn't just work for the wealthy and well-connected, so it works for the people.
Senator Warren, thank you. You bring up eliminating the filibuster, which means you would need simply a simple majority in a Republican Senate to get something done. I want to turn to Senator Sanders on this because you've said before of this, if Donald Trump supports ending the filibuster, which he's talked about himself, you should be nervous. Would you support ending the filibuster?
No, but what I would support absolutely is passing major legislation, the gun legislation that people here are talking about, Medicare for all, climate change legislation that saves the planet. I will not wait for 60 votes to make that happen. And you could do it in a variety of ways. You could do that through budget reconciliation law. You have a vice president who will, in fact, tell the Senate what is appropriate and what is not, what is in order and what is not. But I want to get back to a point that Elizabeth made, and that, in fact, in terms of gun issues, and picking up on Cory and Beto and everybody else, What we are looking at is a corrupt political system. And that means whether it is the drug companies or the insurance companies or the fossil fuel industry determining what's happening in Washington, or in this case, you got an NRA, which has intimidated the President of the United States and the Republican leadership. I am proud that year after year I had an F rating from the NRA. And as president, I will not be intimidated by the NRA.
Senator Sanders, thank you.
May I respond?
Why would you respond? What do you have to possibly say against that, you dumb
Look,
bitch?
a lot about what's been happening here in Texas. Only a few weeks ago, the deadliest massacre of Latinos in modern U.S. history happening in this
biggest
state, in El Paso.
massacre
So the fear
of
among
Latinos.
Latinos, and you know this, is very real. So let me start with an issue that is causing a lot of division in this country, immigration.
So Andrew Yang doesn't get to say anything on guns,
Vice President
I guess?
Biden, as a presidential candidate,
He's in the 6th place.
in 2008.
But we heard from
you
literally
supported
everyone on the stage
border
but
wall,
him on the
saying,
gun issue.
Unlike
Okay,
most
cool.
Democrats, I voted for 700 miles of fence. This is what you said. Then you served as vice president in an administration that deported 3 million people, the most ever in U.S. history. Did you do anything to prevent those deportations? I mean, you've been asked this question before and refused to answer, so let me try once again. Are you prepared to say tonight that you and President Obama made a mistake about deportations? Why should Latinos trust you?
What Latinos should look at is comparing this president to the president we have is outrageous, number one. We didn't lock people up in cages. We didn't separate
you did.
families.
Actually,
we
you
didn't
did.
do all of those things.
You did a lot of those things.
You did most of those
You
things.
actually did all of those things, if we're really fucking being honest.
With the DACA program. No one had ever done that before. The president sent legislation to the desk
This
saying
is
he
way
wants to
better
find a
with an
pathway
alien,
for the 11 million
skeleton in front of you.
undocumented in the
You wanna
United
try it?
States of America.
Yeah, give me
the
the
president has
skeleton
done
for a second.
a great deal. So I'm proud to have served with him. What I would do
Watch
as
it through the
president
alien
is
skeleton
several more
skull.
things because things have changed. I would, in
It's way
fact,
better.
make sure that there is, we immediately surge to the border.
Yeah,
All those people
yeah.
are seeking
I see what you
asylum.
mean.
They
Yeah.
deserve to be heard. That's who we are. We're a nation that says if you want to flee and you're fleeing oppression, you should come.
Oh, yeah, I do wanna
would change
flee.
the order that the president just
I want a
changed,
whole
saying
flea circus.
women who were being beaten and abused
I'm definitely
could no
fleeing
longer
oppression,
claim that as a reason for asylum. And by the way, retrospectively, you know,
Retrospectively?
the 25th anniversary of the violence
Did I hear that?
is up. The
Did I hear that?
Republican Congress has
Retrospectively.
not reauthorized.
Retrospectively.
it.
Retrospectively.
Sounds like a fucking magic trick.
Rector Spectre. Did you make a
Rector
mistake with those deportations?
I wonder if he whispers that into his
The
victims'
president
ears.
did the best thing that was able to be done at the
How about
time.
you?
Inspector
I'm the
Rector.
vice president.
I want to inspect your rectum.
Secretary Castro, would you want to respond
I mean,
to Vice
look,
President Biden?
you know,
and let me put this in context.
Unless
Because
he's
your
gonna do
party
another sick
controlled
burn.
the White House and Congress in 2009.
Sal, I thought you were a
and
spider.
didn't pass
Get the fuck
immigration
up outta here.
reform. And this broke a
How did he
promise
get
made
in
by
here?
President Barack Obama
You.
to Latinos.
He broke in, dude.
So
Oh, he
why
came
should
in with me.
voters
Came in
trust
with you.
Democrats now?
God
I mean,
damn it.
now it is even more
Snuck in.
difficult.
He's
as
a
you
little
know,
sneak thief,
because
dude.
You need Republican
His
votes
sneak
in the
is like
Senate. So are
99.
you willing, for instance, to give up DACA? Or give
Come
up
on
a
up,
path
Sal.
to citizenship, or even agree
wanna
to
see
build
you
a
now.
wall in order to legalize 10.5
People rather see you
million
than this
undocumented
shit.
immigrants?
I've
Well,
got
thank you
an
very much
answer
for
to
that
this one
question.
too, dude.
And
oh my God!
look, I agree that
Sal.
Barack Obama was
Hi,
very
Sal.
different from Donald Trump. Donald Trump has a dark heart when it comes to immigrants. He built his whole political career so far on scapegoating and fear-mongering and otherizing migrants, and that's very
Not his
different
whole
for Barack
career.
Obama.
He did
But
do
my
some
problem
of
with
that,
Vice President
but
Biden, and Corey pointed
he
this
didn't
out
build his
last
career
time,
on it.
is every time something good about Barack Obama comes up, he says, oh, I was there, I was there, I was there. That's me too. And then every time somebody questions part of the administration that we were both part of, he says, well, that was the
I
president.
like that
mean,
line
he
of
wants to
attack.
take credit
Once
for
again, I'm
Obama's
actually
work
liking
Sick
something
bird.
and not
Julian
have to
Castro is
answer
saying.
to any questions.
Yeah, he's like, he wants to take credit for all this shit. You gonna answer for any of the fucking problems of that shit,
Let me just
bitch?
say,
What I said.
let me just say that
Sal,
I
come
was
here.
the first candidate in early April to put forward an immigration plan. You know why? Because I'm not afraid of Donald Trump on this issue. I'm not going
Who's
to
afraid
backpedal.
of
I'm
the
not
big
going to
bad Trump?
pretend
Big
like
bad
I don't
Trump?
have
Big bad
my
Trump?
own vision for immigration. So we're not going to give up DACA. We're not going to give up protections for anybody. I believe that on January 20th, 2021, we're going to have a Democratic president. We're going to throw out Mitch McConnell and John Cornyn and have a Democratic Senate and a Democratic House, and we're going to pass immigration reform within the first 100 days.
That's a lot of maybes and ifs.
I believe
I did not
I can
say
fly.
I don't stand. I stand with Barack Obama all 8 years, good, bad, and indifferent. That's where I stand. I did not say I did not stand with him.
Okay, Senator Warren, hundreds of children have been separated from their parents at the border. And recently in Mississippi, we saw the largest immigration rate
that's
in
great.
a decade.
Warren.
You want to replace ICE, the agency in charge of rounding up undocumented immigrants.
Shut up, Warren.
So how would you deal with the millions of immigrants who arrive legally but overstay their visas? And how would you stop hundreds of thousands of Central Americans who want to migrate to the U.S.?
Well,
machine gun
I
turrets
start with a statement of
and
principles,
walls.
and that is, in this country,
I got an answer to
immigration
this
does
one.
not make us
Let's see if
weaker.
Warren's got
Immigration
one.
makes us stronger.
Okay, I agree with that.
I want to see us expand legal immigration
No.
and create a pathway to citizenship
No.
for our dreamers, but also for their grandparents.
They must be dreaming,
and
think
for
they're
their
gonna get that.
cousins, for people who overstayed student visas, and for people who came here to work
broke the
in
law,
the
send 'em
fields.
back.
I want to have a system that is a path to citizenship that is fair and achievable. Down the
Here's
border,
the path to
we've got to
citizenship,
rework
dude.
this
I got it
entirely.
right now.
A system
Yeah, suck your dick, dude.
Immediate naturalization of anybody that wants to come here and be an American. How's that?
So literal open borders.
Yes.
Is
How's that?
not a system that is keeping us safer, and it
No,
is
that's the
not
answer to this
serving
that you're not
our
going to hear out of
values.
probably anybody.
Mr. Yang.
But it is, well, it's step one of the
I want
answer.
to add one more part
What's
on this
step
because
two?
I think we have to look at all
Step
the pieces.
two
Why
is
do we
you've
have
got to
a crisis at the
enforce,
border?
like, well,
in no small
can I
part because
cannot
we have
compete with
withdrawn
Warren?
help
Yeah,
from
gotcha.
people in Central America.
No, we can finish listening to her, and then I can tell you my whole fucking plan.
That help,
When they go to
we
somebody
need to
with
help
no
establish
consequence.
and reestablish the
Gotcha.
rule of law so that people
Why am I the only
don't
one
feel
not wearing
like they
sunglasses
have to
through this
flee
shit? It
for
must
their
be better.
lives. We have a crisis that Donald Trump has created and
No, he
hopes to
didn't.
profit from
There we go.
politically. We have to have the courage to stand up.
Yeah, you have
and
to see
fight
a little bit less
Mr.
of it.
Yang,
It's a little darker.
It is
so.
true that in the last few years, we have seen the most severe anti-immigrant measures, from putting kids in cages to limiting asylum for people fleeing
Whoa,
gangs and
they're actually
domestic
talking to
violence.
Yang. It's crazy.
But
Holy
it is also
shit.
true that about 1 million immigrants enter the U.S. legally every year. So are you willing to raise the number of legal immigrants from 1 million to 2 million per year? And should there be a merit system, as President Trump wants?
So, yeah, I'm
My-
sorry, did you ask me or?
Mr.
That was
Yang.
me.
Already said it, okay. Sorry.
My father grew up on a peanut farm in Asia with
Was
no
that a
floor,
diss move,
and now
or-
his son is
Yeah,
running for
well, I think
president.
so.
That is the immigration
Is that a-
story that we have to be able to share with the American people. If you look at our history, almost half of Fortune 500 companies were founded by their immigrants or children of immigrants, and rates of business formation are much higher in immigrant communities. We have to say to the American people, immigrants are positive for our economic and social dynamism, and I would return the level of legal immigration to the point it was under the Obama-Biden administration. I think we have to compete for talent, and I am the opposite of Donald Trump in many ways. He says build a wall. I'm going to say to immigrants, come to America, because if you come here, your son or daughter can run for president. The water is great, and this is where you want to build a company, build a family, and build a life. This country has been a magnet for human capital for generations. If we lose that, we lose something integral to our continued success.
way to steal my
and that is
thunder,
where I would
gang.
lead as president.
Alcalde Pitt, tengo una pregunta para usted.
Didn't think I'd hear that from a
Alcalde
candidate
Pitt,
tonight.
8 out of 10
Interesting.
Latinos in
Open
Texas
borders
were in
argument.
other
Close the
mass
borders,
shooting
Paul.
targeted.
Close
This is
them all.
according to a new Univision
Yep,
poll.
close them, everyone, Paul.
President Trump has called
Yep,
Mexican
we need to be an
immigrants
island,
rapists
stay
and
safe.
slaves,
Wide open.
tried to ban Muslims
Yeah,
from
so all-
entering the
when all the
country,
Muslims
and
come
separated
kill you,
children
Paul,
from
how
their
you gonna
parents.
feel,
Tried to
man?
ban
His supporters have
Muslims.
chanted,
Shoot them with my
build the
guns.
wall and
Got it.
send her back.
You giving up your gun,
you
Paul?
think
You
that
already
people-
done said that. Muslims gonna take you, Paul. They're gonna rape you, and they're gonna shoot you with their illegal guns.
Mega super gun.
I mean, idea
Didn't
one
think about
is
that one, did
like,
you?
look, dude, if we're gonna pretend, and I think we are pretending at this point to be this like beacon type of place, this
We are.
shining city on a hill, Reaganite kind of view of America, right? If we're gonna pretend we're that anymore, there has to be a baseline that if you want to come here, God damn it, you just come here.
No.
You come here, we process you, we give you your papers,
But
we help
then
you
there
out.
won't be enough of the whites.
Kick you out into the milieu, you know what I mean? Go out there with the fucking in the melting pot, right? We
Yeah.
do that. That stops all of the bullshit at the border. It stops kids being in cages and all of the nonsense that's being brought up tonight ad infinitum. And
you're just going to let terrorists and
Yes.
gangbangers and
Absolutely.
shit just flood into this country, Paul.
Absolutely, dude.
It definitely
Dude,
be more interesting.
America has always been about that. And you know what I mean? Like, look, dude.
Paul, from a just a practical standpoint, your plan is insane.
Why?
Why is it insane? Okay, where are they all gonna live, Paul? You gonna build them a fucking house magically?
They'll build their own fucking
where's
houses.
This can't-do attitude coming
Where's
from?
this
is fucking
can-do?
America?
Where's
Do we
this
beat the
can-do?
fucking Nazis, but we can't
Paul,
build a few houses
you don't
for people who want to
understand
come
how,
here?
You must not understand economic systems or actually how things work, Paul. There's no possible way.
Okay.
Maybe eventually you
How about
could do that.
I know one possible way: seizing
Okay.
it from the robber barons that have been hoarding it at the top of the fucking 1% for fucking
Yeah,
ages and ages
that's
in
my
the
argument.
country.
What a great straw man
I don't
argument.
see why they can't
Seize
just
that.
build more houses.
No,
We'll
that's
build more houses all the time.
that's my answer to it. Seize it from the fucking billionaires.
I mean, I guess
Seize
you could,
the goddamn assets
but
from
that's
the
still-
billionaires and build houses with it for anybody
mean-
that wants to come here.
I mean, just
Kill the Romanovs!
I
Oh,
just
I'm
mean
sorry.
practically, if you had said overnight everyone could come here, you wouldn't have enough of those resources.
I'm not
laid
saying
set up
doing
and
it
infrastructure.
overnight. I'm
Well,
saying that's the end. That's what the goal. We set that goal.
Well, you said 10. Well, okay, you said anyone that wants to come. So let's say 50 million people want to come to the U.S.
We make
Then what do
fucking
you-
accommodations for it. We
That-
cut
that would
the
be
military.
crazy.
But you tell me money can't be moved around?
It's not a matter of just moving
right,
money around. It's a matter of having enough of those things. I don't know if there actually would be enough of those.
I don't think you're going to have
resources
50
and
million
infrastructure.
people come in right away.
I don't think so either.
I
But
think a
let's
lot of
just say
people
they
are-
did. You don't think we can move money in a fucking giant $1 trillion budget
Not
around and
overnight.
build housing?
I mean,
not
if-
overnight. No.
If it was done gradually, then perhaps that could happen.
But if it looks like there's going to be 50 million people coming here, we should probably prep for 50
I have to
million.
be kind of against this just because I don't want 50 million more people here, though.
I'm just saying that's the only answer to these
If
fucking
we kill
problems.
50 million of our
Well,
existent
I
people
don't think
and
that's the only
replace
answer,
them with
but
better
that's
people,
an answer
maybe.
to the problems.
All
And
right.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible and that it couldn't work. I'm just saying it has to be methodically done.
Lives lost under our care.
Oh, it's this guy. Never mind.
Yeah, it's this dude.
What's he yammering about? Who cares?
I mean, though, Paul, I do think if humanity is to progress, I do think you eventually are correct that we will have to become a global society.
That's what I fucking argue for every step of the way, all the time, always. The idea of nationalism has to die if we're to progress as a species, and I'm for that in any way I can undermine it. Anything I can be against that undermines this nationalistic idea that somebody that was born on this part of the planet
It's
don't
super
deserve to be on
different,
this
yeah.
part of the planet. Fuck that. Okay? There's my politics.
I mean, yeah,
In a nutshell.
all humans have the same basic needs, and for the most part, the same wants and desires. It's just these different cultures and different spots on the fucking this little rock. That
fucking
shape
America.
people.
Look, dude, as much as I dog on America, I love this idea that I got built up in my head as a kid that doesn't really exist, I guess, about America as a giant melting pot, a place that just absorbs those cultures. Why are we afraid of that shit? America has always been an enclave of different cultures and different people. Like, early American history is fraught with different fucking European cultures sprouting up all over the goddamn eastern seaboard and shit. all
you know
up
what
and
else?
down it.
You know what else is fraught with is those cultures clashing against each other. too.
Abso-fucking-lutely. And
So
it
we're
doesn't
just,
stop.
We're just amidst another clash. I mean, really, no politician is going to be able to enforce what's going to happen. I mean, it's just going to happen naturally via social evolution.
So that's what I'm a fucking advocate for. I'm an advocate for not fearing the chaos that comes with culture clash, because I live in a place that at least sold me on the idea when I was a fucking kid that when you just face that shit up, shit changes when it needs to change, and shit gets better as a result. People learn to moderate when they have to live in a society that's getting along and where poverty isn't the fucking rule of the day. You know what I mean? And the people that don't and commit crimes, you deal with them. I mean, why are we afraid of this? We beat the fucking Nazis and we're afraid of this? Fuck that. Let anybody who wants to come here within reason. I'm saying, like, don't open up the most hardcore prisons in South Africa and bring all those dudes over. You know, do a background check or whatever. Make sure they're not Saudi agents or whatever the fuck. Do what you gotta do. But don't limit people coming here. If they gotta come here, let them come. If they're fucking scumbags, try and keep them out, but you're never going to keep them out, so don't fear the scumbags.
I mean, we have plenty of homegrown scumbags as well, so it's not exactly like.
Where's the fear? Why is all there's like on the immigration issue specifically? I've been blown away for most of my life at the amount of fear people have of immigrants. Like, honestly, Do you think that most of the people that come to America come here because they want to strap a bomb to their chest or put a burqa on your wife? You know what they come here looking for? Opportunity.
Most people are economic migrants.
Yes. Economic opportunity. We live in a place where they know they can get a fucking job and make enough money to feed their families.
Well, if you look at our ancestors,
what's less American than that?
If you look at most of our ancestors too,
I mean, but the real truth is that like a lot of people don't want to compete with.
Well, yeah. Well,
it's like, hey, if, you know, we don't want a bunch of Mexicans coming here and driving down wages because they're willing to work.
But yeah,
cheaper
but the reality is too is that most of us, the most white people in America, our ancestors immigrated here at some point too, and they were viewed this probably the same way, and it's just the same cycle. It's
well, we killed the people that were here before us.
I mean, I've got an answer to the competing wages bullshit too.
What?
The answer to the competing wages bullshit is to get rid of the idea of fucking wages. Get rid of this stupid fucking top-down, bottom-up, fucking capitalistic crony nonsense.
I don't know how you could do that until there's robots doing more jobs.
Well, there's your path.
Automate the future, dude.
There's your path.
I think that I really do think technology will make capitalism obsolete. But I
Take
don't know
all
when that'll
this
happen.
fucking wasted money that we're dropping bombs on all these other places, defend our borders as well as we can against military incursion, and reinvest that fucking money in automation and kickstart this fucking country into a new golden age. Relieve people of the drudgery. Relieve people of the fucking stress in their lives and let them get along as neighbors and friends in a place of prosperity. And fuck this fucking yoke around your neck.
And this bitch is named Pooja.
Who cares?
Pooja. I do.
Who cares what her fucking name is?
It has poo in it. How can you not care?
I don't know. Maybe I should. I don't know. Maybe
you're
I'm
not
wrong.
You're not quite as juvenile as me, I guess.
Maybe I should. Maybe I should care that she's Pooja.
Pooja. That's what you're advocating for. More bitches walking around named Pooja, so.
Sure. Why not? Why not, man? The spice of life is Poojas all over the world.
Give me that Pooja.
You know? Who cares? What are you afraid of? Why so much fear?
Why the fear?
That's something that happened on 9/11, dude.
I smell the fear in you.
The fear. The fear of the immigrant, the fear of the other kicked
No,
into overdrive.
that's been all of American history, pretty much. Whatever the latest migrant group is always like, oh no, they're gonna turn. I mean, they did it to the Chinese back in the railroad days and shit.
Did it to everybody. The Irish, the Jews, everybody that every fucking minority group that started to immigrate to America, seeking that very same thing, economic fucking opportunity.
Yep.
Were demonized in some way, shape, or form. And it just, every one of them has enriched society with its presence.
Yeah, but every one of them's had to fucking go through that
right.
trial by fire, too. So.
I'm saying get rid of that. Get rid of this idea that...
I don't know, maybe that's how you fucking...
Everybody that
maybe that's how you get them
here
fucking
is
integrated into
Dude,
shit.
gladiatorial combat, I'm fucking down for it. TJ, your dog's a pile of shit. He keeps fucking trying to come back in here.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
You know when that you know when a group is fucking being accepted is when they got the token conservative one.
Oh yeah.
That tells people what they tells the conservatives what they want to hear. It's
Of
like
course.
I'm a Muslim, but I hate other Muslims, and everyone's like, "Ooh, this is great. He's reasonable."
I don't know, man.
What? Oh, it's dead. It's like it's in the kitchen, but I can't find the charger for it. Oh my god, this sucks.
It really does, man. Because honestly, whatever. I know my ideas are wild and out there, but fuck, man. I feel like we need some wild and out there ideas at least sprinkled amongst some of these people.
Oh my god, yeah. I mean, agree or disagree. I'd rather listen to fucking some crazy fucking ideas than we need to keep doing what we're doing. Everything's going good. Only problem is Trump. We got rid of Trump, it'd all be great.
China.
I would not repeal the tariffs on day one, but I would let the Chinese know that we need to hammer out a deal. Because right now, the tariffs are pummeling producers and farmers in Iowa who have absolutely nothing to do with the imbalances that we have with China. A CEO friend of mine was in China recently, and he said that he saw pirated U.S. intellectual property on worker workstations to the tune of thousands of dollars per head. And he said, one, how can my workers compete against that? And two, think about all the lost revenue to American companies. So the imbalances are real, but we have to let the Chinese know that we recognize that President Trump has pursued an arbitrary and haphazard trade policy that has had victims on both sides. So no to repealing the tariffs immediately.
Stumble there.
Yes, to making sure we come to a deal.
You know why,
that addresses
TJ? Because he's with the
concerns of
Chinese.
American companies and American producers.
This is probably why he's nervous. It's like, why you ask me the China question, dog? What the fuck?
China, oh shit.
You couldn't have asked someone else first, at least.
Wait him out.
Yeah, why did they ask the Chinese dude if he would repeal the Chinese tariffs on day
It's
one?
kind of, yeah, I mean, it's kind of weird.
Like a purity test to make sure he's not an agent.
Well, the president.
Yang, what do
clearly
you
has
think
no
on China?
strategy.
How
You
much
know, when I
on
first
your
got into
on
this
their
race,
side
I
are
remember
you?
President Trump scoffed
You
and said
fucking
he'd
commie.
like to see me making a deal with Xi Jinping.
How you feel about
I'd like
Mao
to see him making a
Zedong,
deal
huh?
with Xi Jinping. Is it just me, or was that supposed to happen in like April? It's one more example of a commitment not made. When that happens on the international stage, people take note. Not just our competitors, our adversaries, but also our allies.
Oh
take
my
note.
God, it's always a slog getting through this fucking debate.
No.
Can
Our
we just-
allies will take note as well.
I mean, what fucking standard does the DNC have to fucking install in this where I don't have to fucking listen to Buttigieg and
They should,
Klobuchar?
I think what they need to do is the sleep test. If you're nodding off after 30 seconds of them talking,
They suck.
cut them.
So what's the question here?
I don't know.
What are they going to do about China?
China.
I'm assuming what are they going
Okay.
to do about the trade with China problem?
So what do you like? This is where my fucking political ideas kind of fall apart because I don't know. I really don't. I'm not good.
You're
at,
weak on foreign policy.
Yeah,
Paul.
I'm pretty well. I think I'm pretty strong on certain aspects of foreign policy, but I'm not the best on the economic side of things. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah,
and so
well,
I don't really know
we
what
can
the
get
best
you an
idea.
advisor.
I think the idea would be, and maybe I'm fucking crazy, but let me throw one out there. How about we open free trade with China again, right? We stop this bullshit restriction of trade, and then we beat them at their own game. We become the next hub of technology and fucking AI development and crazy fucking medical breakthroughs. We beat them. We clean our cities up and make them fucking reinvest in the inner cities in America and make them giant fucking gleaming examples of what America could be. Like China's doing with every one of their fucking cities right now. And we beat them at the image game. If the game is we want to be the best in the heap, we can't look like a heap of shit.
I think
So
not only
clean
that-
everything up, reinvest in the fucking inner cities, create jobs for people to fucking redo these giant fucking beautiful skyscrapers, create new ways of living in urban environments.
Well, our manufacturing jobs are the past, anyways. Look, the U.S. is not going to be like we manufacture some things, but we're not going to become we're not going to have the giant industrial manufacturing base China has. China not going to
Let them have it.
us.
Let them have it. Create most favored nation status and let them do all the drudge work for us. I'm dead honest.
That's awesome. I like that.
Why not?
Well, look, investing in automation is going to make that irrelevant, anyways.
Absolutely.
If we're being honest,
in the interim, we pad it out with most favored nation status with China, and we let them make all our fucking TVs and cell phones and shit for us while we get about the business of changing the way we fucking live into the future, modernizing our cities, cleaning up shitty fucking inner cities that need it.
you know what? An issue
Liberating the economically depressed in this
You know,
country.
an issue that none of these people have talked about, and I have not heard once mentioned on the debate stage, is why there's no, like, you're talking about rebuilding cities. What about public transit in these cities? What about public transit in this
That's
country?
all part of it.
And it's a
we
big
need a
thing. that no one's-
massive second
About some fucking
American
high-speed rail up
fucking
in this bitch.
industry revolution where we start fucking putting people to work on the hard fucking business of rebuilding our crumbling infrastructure and making our cities places people want to come to again.
Yeah.
They look shit like, dude, giant cities reek. They're shitty. They're old. I mean, some of them have some cool buildings in it. I'm not saying that America doesn't have some skylines, but fuck, dude. Go look at an average fucking coastal city in China. Just look at it.
It's insane.
I just
Or
look at some
Singapore.
look at some aerials of Singapore and tell me we're not fucking light years behind that game.
We are. There's
Light
there's no way.
years.
I mean, probably our most impressive skyline in this country is probably New York City.
And there's always this eternal question, where's the money going to come from? The money's going to come from the people who benefit the most from the American lifestyle. The top, the business class, the Amazons, the Googles. These giant fucking corporations are going to reinvest in this fucking country or leave and shut down and make room for somebody to fill the fucking giant vacuum. Because you know what, dude? The idea,
Shanghai.
Yeah, the idea that an American company has a fucking knife at my throat, fuck that. I've always been of the fucking idea, tax these motherfuckers to the max, and if they don't want to be American, let them go be Chinese and see how that works out. Make room for another American to come through and make another company that'll fill the void that your fucking vampiric ass leaves behind. Anybody that wants to invest in this place and make this place great again, you can stay. Pay your taxes. Let the rest of us live in fucking peace and harmony. Stop with the goddamn bullshit.
Change our trade policy in America is first the procedures. Who sits at the table? I want to negotiate trade with unions at the table. I want to negotiate it with small farmers at the table. I want to negotiate it with environmentalists.
The table has got to be there. I mean, if I show up in a room and there's no fucking table,
Where's the table?
Let me tell you the truth about the table. What's on the table for the corporations right now is a huge slab. And if the government of this country...
We're not even at the table, motherfucker. We're like the dog, licking the floor afterwards.
No. But I'm just saying, if the government comes and trims the fat off of that shit, it ain't going to hurt these motherfuckers. They're just going to have a leaner piece of meat. They're going to have the same health care as us. Boo fucking who? They're going to suck it up. They're going to still want to make money. That's just the bottom line, dude.
They're still going to get the best healthcare anyways, because let's be honest, there's going to be other countries in the world they can go to and get fucking top healthcare if they really want it.
If they want to pay for it.
I mean, even under fucking Bernie's plan, they can still get supplemental fucking shit.
Yeah.
If you want to go get...
Or if you're rich, dude, go to fucking Switzerland or some shit.
Or whatever the fuck
Go to
you
Geneva. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever. If you're that fucking rich, you want the very best, then go there. If it's some other country.
I mean, do you guys think I'm crazy when I say that it's not even about their access to healthcare? It's about the boot. It's about the authoritarian boot on our necks that capitalism has installed, right?
Oh, dude, the minute you get into the system...
Because you're absolutely right. They can pay for whatever the fuck they want.
Dude, it's such a scam, Paul, because the fucking first thing that happens with you in American life is buy a car, so get a car payment, get this payment, get this payment, get this payment, get all your little scams.
The boot.
And then just, let me just bleed you fucking dry.
Let me just step on you a little fucking harder with this boot.
It's true.
It's all about the boot, man.
Unless you're fucking wealthy, because the wealth is the way to escape that. It's like, you're the one pushing the boot down.
And I'm telling you, dude, that's not how you get from dirty-ass fucking crumbling inner cities to fucking giant utopian fucking shining skyscrapers and eco-villages and shit. If that's your end goal for society, you ain't going to get it while 99.9% of people have to live with a boot.
No, it's impossible.
Get rid of the boot.
It's just about...
Kamala Harris, who's talking right now, is the boot.
It's just about making... you even hear it in the rhetoric about this shit. Like, well, who's going to work or who's going to do this? It's like, isn't that kind of the point? That all this shit, all this pressure, all this oh, you better fucking... I mean, you think it's a coincidence that people are living paycheck to paycheck out there?
Not at all.
The rich people want you living paycheck to paycheck. Of course they do. Why wouldn't they? If you're living paycheck to paycheck, that means you got to come into work.
That means you
can never... the power balance is always in their favor. They can always say, well, fuck you. Because they hold your life in their hands.
Yes.
They own your insurance policy. They make sure you have enough money to put just enough food on the table to keep feeding yourself to come in fucking next week.
They loaned you the money to buy your fucking house if you have a house. They loaned you the money to buy your car. It's their fucking money.
They own it all.
Yep.
You own the debt. They own the fucking house. They own the fucking car until you fucking pay that shit down.
And then they get it again.
You own the debt, and they collateralize that debt and package it into exotic fucking trading packages and make money on your debt.
Right.
Of course. Why wouldn't they?
And there's people on 90% of the people on this stage, maybe not 90, but most people on this stage are defending exactly that fucking system. And that's why I don't want to hear from them. Because fuck that.
How about Bernie? Let's hear from Bernie.
All right.
Trade policy is a tweet at 3 o'clock in the morning. What we have got to do is develop a trade policy that represents workers, represents the farmers in the Midwest and elsewhere
What is
who
that?
are losing billions right now because of Trump's policy. A trade policy which understands that if a company shuts down in America and goes abroad and then thinks they're going to get online to get a lucrative federal contract under Bernie Sanders, they got another guess coming.
Vice President Biden,
I'm
vote
for
your
that
name.
at least.
Yeah. Well,
That was the only
look,
specific thing he said, though.
We're
Right
going to
there.
make
Yeah, I like to hear more,
policy,
but
or China's
I mean,
gonna
obviously,
make
there's limited
the rules
time
of
and
the
all
road.
that shit.
of course.
We make up 25% of the world economy. We need another 25% to join us. And I think Senator Warren is correct. At the table has to be labor, and at the table have to be environmentalists. The fact of the matter is,
They'll be at the back of
China,
the table, maybe.
The problem isn't the trade deficit. The problem is they're stealing our intellectual property. The problem is they're violating the WTO.
Oh,
They're
you
steel
corporate
on
fucking
us.
Democrat.
That's a different issue.
God.
My
They're
corporate
eating our
masters are
crumbs,
getting
dude. They're eating our crumbs.
My corporate
man.
masters
Basically,
losing out.
let's just make it clear. This is because they get all these donations from Hollywood and shit. And so they got to act like pirated DVDs and shit.
It's about software and shit too.
Yeah, and clothes and all this shit. They got to act like that's a big deal because all these they're owned by these companies. They're like, we can't have this. We're not making money off of this.
Well, China doesn't give a fuck on those issues. They're just like, copy the shit.
But you can trace that right back up to that implicit violence that you were talking about that hangs over the head of every normal person in this country.
Right.
Dude, I don't know if I've ever talked about it on the show. I did a ideology once where I watched this, but one of my favorite philosophers, Derek Jensen, has an anecdote about it with the cop. You know, if you don't pay your rent, what happens?
You get evicted.
Right. Okay, well, what happens?
If you go to
So you're
court,
going
you
about your day, you haven't paid your rent, you're going about your day, and what happens?
Eventually, if you don't pay your rent, you're going to knock on your door and told to get the fuck out.
By
the
who?
sheriff. By the sheriff.
Okay, so let's say, so the sheriff comes and he says what to you?
Here's a notice of eviction. Get the fuck out.
And if you say, this is my home, I'm not leaving it, then what happens?
You will be arrested. And all your
And
shit
if
will
you
be
resist being taken out of your home, having done nothing other than expect a shelter over your head, what happens?
You go to jail.
Well, I mean,
that's basically
what
what's
if
happen.
you resist hard?
You could be killed.
Huh? With what?
A gun.
Okay, there you go. That's it. Everybody is under that same boot in this country, and until we change that, none of the rest of this shit is going to get fixed. None of it. All of the division, all of the economic disparity, all of the bullshit fucking henpecking order bullshit. If we don't unleash the power of human fucking creativity by giving people the ability to live, this place is going to wither and die. And China is going to win.
100%.
Because China has found a way to unleash at least a part of that. They at least know about the image factor, which we used to know about, by the way. We used to build the biggest, tallest, fucking, most beautiful cities in the world.
Not no mo.
No. We got out of that.
President Trump promised to bring the troops home.
Trump
and
does,
you
though.
have said of Afghanistan,
Trump's
let's
still
help them
building.
reach a peace settlement. It is
Still
time to bring
slapping
our
his
troops
name
home,
on
in
buildings
your
anyway.
words, starting right now. Would you keep that promise to bring the troops home starting right now with no deal with the Taliban?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. What we're doing right now in Afghanistan is not helping the safety and security of the United States. It is not helping the safety and security of the world. It is not helping the safety and security of Afghanistan.
I agree, but it's just astounding to me that that's even still
Debated.
Thing. That's
Yeah,
even
why
an
is that
issue
even on
the
the fucking table?
Like, why the
No
fuck?
shit, Sherlock.
Like, we shouldn't have. I mean, like,
is endless war in fact good? Who's it good for?
There's now, like, 9/11 was 18 years ago, so we're getting to the point now where there's people who were born after 9/11 happened that could now be deployed to Afghanistan. So it's like we've been there so long that war is like an adult now, pretty much.
Yeah.
It's all grown up. Look at him.
I mean, like, what are we
Isn't
going to
he
do?
cute?
Are we just going to have, like, are we going to be there for, like, 10 more years, 20 more years? We're going to have people that are, like, 30 years old that don't remember a time that we weren't in fucking Afghanistan?
If we're going to be the American Empire, let's actually
crazy.
just be the American Empire. Start building a colony and shit.
Yeah,
They're like, this is the American
if
Empire.
we're going to fucking be there that long, let's just fucking
Or start
stop the
plundering
pretense.
its resources
Let's
and
stop
just
even
be-
calling it Afghanistan and just call it the fucking, the American Afghan territory or something.
If we're not doing that, then let's get the fuck out of there. There's no fucking point.
Leaders on the ground in Afghanistan told me you can't do it without a deal with the Taliban. You just said you would. You would bring them home. What if they told you that? Would you listen to their advice?
I was in
No.
Afghanistan. with
No,
John
bitch.
McCain
Fuck you.
2 years ago this past summer. I think it may have been Senator McCain's last trip.
Oh, my God.
Before he was...
And Senator McCain, Senator John McCain, the prestigious war criminal John McCain was there with me. And you'll never believe what he said.
And then we kissed, and it was wonderful.
And we held hands.
We danced underneath the Afghan
Wisdom from
moonlight.
that crusty old raisin
He
McCain.
braided a daisy into my hair, and we danced through the meadows of poppy seeds. It's
And
like,
then we did
fuck
heroin
you.
together. It was
People
wonderful.
with McCain's
Chase
mentality need to be remembered in shame.
Get John
Not
McCain's
held up
dead
as fucking
dick out of
virtue.
your fucking mouth, you pseudo-Indian bitch.
He was a warmonger. He was a corporatist. He was your opponent in fucking against the first Barack Obama presidency. Remember that, by the way. And you would have had nothing nice to say about him at that point in
What
time.
a joke. But now that he's dead.
Now that he's dead, we
he's
got to all
some kind of-
revere the old
he's
dusty
dead,
corpse of McCain.
He's
Fuck
dead,
him.
and Trump didn't like him, so now he's a hero.
He's a symbol of everything that's wrong with this place. Fuck him. He should be buried in an unmarked grave somewhere and forgotten about.
I agree with Paul.
In Afghanistan.
Senator Warren, thank you. I do want to stay on this, and I want to turn to Mayor Buttigieg because you're the only veteran on this stage who served in Afghanistan.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
you
that
didn't let
should-
Tulsi
yeah.
out there,
Yeah,
did
that
you?
shouldn't be the
For the chair of
case.
the Joint Chiefs of Staff.
One of
who
these
said
other
in recent
idiots
days,
should have
"I'm
been
not going to
trimmed
use
and
the
Tulsi
word
should be there."
withdrawal right now. It's our judgment the Afghans need support to deal with the level of violence. If he's not even using the word withdrawal.
I'm not even a big Tulsi fan or whatever, but man,
She got screwed, dude.
it's ridiculous to think Amy Klobuchar and Castro and O'Rourke and people who have no fucking supporters whatsoever are on this fucking stage, and Tulsi Gabbard, who actually has real supporters.
And,
Like
met the
this
and actually,
fucking-
actually did meet the qualifications. You
this
just fucked
dork
over.
behind us is a fucking Tulsi Gabbard supporter. You know? Yes, I am. Yes.
He's a Gabite.
He's a Gabite.
Dude, Zandalar Cryptoducius Esquire has oft had stoned conversations with me about the virtues
Right.
of Tulsi Gabbard.
And you know what? He's not alone. There's plenty of fucking Tulsi
There's
fans out there.
Gabites.
I ain't never met no goddamn O'Rourke or some shit. Or
And a
you know,
Rourker.
Or what the fuck would Castros be? I don't know. I'm
A castrite.
a castrite. Sounds like someone who fucking chops
We
their
are the
balls off.
Castronians.
Exactly.
House
That's
of Horus.
appropriate. I've never fucking met anyone who supported Klobuchar. Not one
And don't
fucking
you-
person.
Aren't you a Bernie
The
supporter,
Klobuchunts is what you would call those, though.
Exactly.
TJ, so are you supporting Bernie?
Yeah.
So you want Bernie to win? All right.
Yeah.
Why not Booty Judge, TJ?
Because he
Buttigieg.
fucking sucks dick.
Well, look at that hair, dude. His hair is.
He literally.
Whoa,
I know.
TJ. You mean what? In what way do you mean?
I mean, in both ways. He sucks
Wow.
dick.
So you're saying TJ
But it's
literally
the-
because he sucks
It's
dick.
the figurative dick sucking that makes me not want to vote for him. The
Right.
literal, I don't care.
Right.
He can suck all the literal dick
But he
wants.
does suck dick in both ways.
But
you're
his
right.
figurative dick
No,
sucking.
he's a corporatist middle.
TJ, what if
you know,
He's he's a fucking golden boy of the
Could-
goddamn establishment.
Buttigieg-
He's taking money from all sorts of fucking corporate
sure.
interests that are bullshit.
But if he offered to drop to his knees and polish your knob right there on that stage, would you vote for him?
yeah,
Okay, well there you go. Fair enough. So there's a way he can win your vote.
yeah,
if anybody here wants to polish my knob, they got my vote.
yeah. I mean, if you want,
Even
I
Uncle
think
Joe
you will bow
Even
down.
Uncle Joe.
Wait, if
with
you're
his leaky
wait a
eyes,
minute.
blood leaking over your cock and stuff.
If you're
You're fine with
no,
that?
yes, because you know what? If you're
More
a
lube,
presidential
more
candidate,
lube.
Scotty, if you're a presidential candidate,
I am cool.
and
I'll
you're
take it.
willing to bow down before me
Yes,
on a national
kneel.
stage,
Kneel.
and suck my fucking dick,
Yes.
then you're
All
damn
right.
right. I'll give you a miserable, useless
You know what a
Louisiana
vote
red
is?
state vote.
Yeah. You know
Thank
what a
you.
vote is, really? Like anywhere.
Not much.
It's
Look
a
at
it's a
this.
filthy fucking rag at this point, and everybody knows it. We knew it in fucking 2000 when George Bush stole the fucking election.
I'm the president.
We knew it. We knew it every time we read a headline with Diebold machine with fatal flaw found still in operation in 12,000 counties. We know they're all still there.
And if they actually kept counting, I would have
We
lost.
know these votes aren't accounted for in any proper way. We
George
learned
W.
that
Bush
a
was
long
actually
time ago.
never elected president. The Supreme Court said he
No,
was
I
president,
know.
and if they kept counting,
And
they
you know
said,
how that happened? The
Oh.
vote was subverted out from under us and
Of
made
course.
into a malleable thing that can be thrown to any fucking candidate that they want. Your vote is a filthy, worthless dish rag at this point. So give it to whoever you want, man. I choose not to give it to anybody, in silent protest of this national mess we're watching unfold
But
before us.
Paul, if you don't vote, then how can you change things?
I choose to hold on to my filthy dish rags. I'm a hoarder, okay? I got a stack of them in my closet that I'm waiting to spend on somebody that I fucking actually believe in. And I got to be honest with you, I like Bernie's policies, but they're all policies that spring forth from operating within the same system that we're talking about here. They have to in order to exist.
Sure.
And if you've listened to anything that I've said tonight, you know I'm opposed to that. So,
all right,
how am I supposed to vote?
I've created a fucking poll.
Poll?
Where your vote actually does count.
Oh, wow.
And you can tell us who you think is winning the fucking debate. I didn't include everybody because you only get 4 options.
If you include
so.
put us
I already
on there
done
too.
It. I already done it.
Okay, good.
And so erection, TJ,
I didn't.
erection 2020. So like, how hard are you? Basically, the metric we're going to use is how hard are you for that candidate, from raging hard on to soft, flaccid marshmallow penis.
Who's winning the debate?
Which one?
That's what I want to know.
Where'd you put the poll, TJ?
Can you like this?
It's on Vimeo.
Oh, okay.
For our live viewers, we got about 670.
Where'd you put the announcement for this?
On our YouTube channel.
For patrons?
Nope, for everybody.
Oh, this is for everybody.
For all human
but
beings.
But on Vimeo.
Across the spectrum. But
Yep.
on Vimeo, yes.
Yeah, we can't stream on YouTube.
We got 683 motherfuckers watching this shit.
Cool.
And we'll put it up on YouTube later. Hopefully we won't get no copyright strike bullshit happening to us.
And we'll put it up immediately for patrons, though.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, of course.
Patrons will get it.
For sure.
I mean, everybody. I mean,
I didn't know we had so many people watching.
This will still be it.
I would have put on some makeup.
Makeup when I wake up in my makeup.
Afghanistan is very similar to what we saw in Iraq.
Wow, we're
when
still
the
talking about
troops came
Afghanistan,
out.
huh?
ISIS filled that vacuum.
Yes.
What do you
they
make
did.
of people out there who are worried that if we pull out U.S. troops too
Afghanistan?
quickly from
Yes, got it,
Afghanistan, it will
got it.
create safe haven all over again, like the plotters of 9/11?
David, let me answer that, but let me just comment on something that the Vice President said.
He's a retard.
He talked about the big mistake in Iraq and the surge. The truth is, the big mistake, the huge mistake, and one of the big differences between you and me, I never believed what Cheney and Bush said about Iraq.
Trump does.
I love it even then.
The war in Iraq.
Huge. I voted
Hopefully
against
the
it.
opposition.
You fucking voted
And
for it,
it's
you
sad to say,
cock-sucking
I mean, I-
motherfucker.
He did. Points
had
to
the
fucking
feeling
Bernie.
That there would be
knew it
massive
was bullshit.
destabilization in that area if we went into that war.
Yeah, we
As the
invaded these
former
parts of the world,
chairman
and then we had
Senate
ISIS.
Committee
Great
on
idea,
Veterans Affairs,
retards.
want to pick up on what Pete said? We cannot express our gratitude to all of the men and women who have put their lives on the line to defend us, who have responded.
Yeah, but they're not
to the
really defending
call
us.
of-
They're disease. They're not.
Nobody's going to say
It's
that.
a
on
damn
this
lie.
show.
It's a fucking lie. They're not over there defending us.
They're defending
have
capitalistic
voted
interest
against all
in that country.
3 of Trump's
And they're defending a
military-
constant,
They're defending the military-industrial
grinding
complex.
military
I don't think
industry.
We have to spend
Just fucking obvious.
billion
Just say what it is.
a year on the military when we don't even know who our enemy is. I think that what we have got to do is bring this world together. Bring it together on climate change. Bring it together in fighting against
Bring it together on climate change.
And make it
It's
clear
more like
that
bring the
we
U.S.
as a
into
planet
reality
That ain't
on
gonna
climate
happen.
is a
change.
global
That ain't gonna
community.
happen.
Oh, yeah, because it
We'll work
affects the
together
giant corporations
to
that fucking
help
run this
countries
country.
around the world
Why do they want to limit fucking
build their
CO2
struggling
emissions?
economies.
Not good for their
and
business.
do everything that we can to rid the world of terrorism, but dropping bombs on Afghanistan and Iraq was not the way to do it.
Senator Sanders, thank you. I want to take
But
this
dropping
to Mr.
bombs
Yang.
in general
You
is
share the
okay,
stage,
right,
as
Bernie?
You know, when we talk about troops in Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, there are some
with the
places
Vice
that you need
President
to
who was in
keep
the
drone
Situation
striking,
Room
right, Bernie?
with senators
Everywhere
who are on
needs
the Senate Armed
bombing.
Services, the Foreign Relations
you to bring on the
Committees,
nukes guy?
with an
Why,
Afghanistan
yeah, well, why
veteran
won't
who
he,
is
if
on the
he's trying
stage
to act
tonight.
like the anti-war
As you
candidate,
share
why
the
won't he
stage with
walk
these
away from the
candidates, what
position
makes you the
of
most
drone strikes?
qualified on this stage
should.
to be
Why doesn't he
commander-in-chief?
shut down that fucking program?
I don't think there's anyone
I've
on
signed a
this
pledge
fucking.
to end the forever
well,
wars.
maybe Yang. I don't know.
We've been in a
We'll
state
see.
of
Look,
continuous
we're
gonna
conflict
have- Yang?
for
we're
18
gonna have the
years
best
is
drone
exactly
strikes.
what the American people want.
What you got?
We have to start owning what we can and can't do. We're not very good at rebuilding countries. And if you want proof, all you have to
No
do
one
is
is.
look within our own country at Puerto Rico.
That's not a country.
We've spent trillions of dollars to unclear benefits, lost thousands of
Maybe he
lives,
meant
and
within
thank you
our
people.
country.
Yeah,
Within our
that's-
country, okay.
within the United
And the
States.
goal has to
Gotcha.
be to rebuild the relationships that have made America strong for decades. I would lead our armed forces with restraint and judgment. What the
Okay,
American people
restraint.
want is simply a president who has the right values and point of view, and they can trust to make the right decisions when it comes to putting our young men and women into harm's way. And that's what I would do as president.
Mr. Yang, thank you.
Boy.
That was pretty empty, Yang.
Yeah, you should only do that if absolutely
Latina,
necessary. That's what you should
A
say.
spoonful
Latin
of
America in
nothing
the previous
helps the
debate. So,
bullshit go
let's begin.
down.
Senator Sanders, one country
love
where
this
many immigrants
guy's
are
voice,
arriving
dude.
from is Venezuela.
I need to get over
A
it.
recent UN
Venezuela.
fact-finding mission found that
Venezuela.
thousands have been disappeared,
Venezuela.
tortured, and killed by
Torture.
government forces in
They've
Venezuela.
been tortured.
You admit that Venezuela
Torture.
does not have free elections, but still you refuse to call Nicolás Maduro un dictador, a dictator.
Un
Can you
dictador.
explain why?
Could you
And
translate that
what
again
are the
for me,
main
please?
differences between your
I do not
kind of
speak the
socialism
I don't
and the
understand
one
your
being
ridiculous
imposed
fucking
in
voice.
Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua?
Well,
Cuba.
first of all, let me be very clear. Anybody who does what Maduro does is a vicious tyrant. What we need now is international
Call him a
and regional
dictator, though,
cooperation
Bernie.
He's a
for
tyrant,
free
but he's a
elections
dictator.
in Venezuela.
You got the balls, call him a
so that the
tyrant, but are you
people of
willing
that
to
country can
step
make
over that dictator
and
line?
can create their own future. In terms of democratic socialism, to equate what goes on in Venezuela with what I believe is extremely unfair. I'll tell you what I believe in terms of democratic socialism. I agree with what goes on in Canada and in Scandinavia, guaranteeing health care to all people as a human right. I believe that the United States should not be the only major country on earth not to provide paid family and medical leave. I believe that every worker in this country deserves a living wage and that we expand the trade union movement. I happen to believe also that
Paul, is this just like kind of a vestige of the whole Red Scare thing we were talking about in that episode?
We do not discuss enough. Well,
How so?
Not in the media.
Like
and
it's
not in
comparing,
communism.
comparing
You got
Bernie's
3
positions
people
to like
in America
Venezuela or the
owning more
USSR or
wealth
some
than
shit.
half of this
Oh,
country.
yeah.
Like
no,
it's
Come on.
communist.
Come here, Comrade Bernie.
Controlling what goes on in Wall Street, the insurance companies, and in the media. Maybe, just maybe, what we should be doing is creating an economy that works for all of us, not 1%. That's my understanding of democratic socialism.
Secretary Augusto, you wanted to say a quick response, 45 seconds.
Sure, thank you, Jorge. I'll call Maduro a dictator because he is a dictator. And
Jorge.
what we need to do is to, along with our allies, make sure that the Venezuelan people get the assistance that they need. That we continue
is
to
this
pressure
dictator
Venezuela so that they'll
football
have
being
free and fair
a
elections.
thing?
And
Why,
also here,
why are we not calling him a dictator again?
I don't know.
Or why is tyrant okay but dictator not okay? Well, I don't even get it. What's going on?
We're quibbling over words now, Paul.
Yeah, we're equivocating at this point.
It's time for us to quibble over what you call somebody.
What'd you call him? I call him a piece of shit. You call him a turd? I didn't call him a turd. Oh, you should have called him a piece of shit, you fucking turd.
See,
It's like, what the fuck are we doing?
the idea that this whole expansion of American ideals, and when I say American ideals, I'm talking about the ones that I expressed tonight. So if you don't consider those ideas American, then you can, file them away under whatever.
Crazy Paul Rent.
But this idea that we need to spread the American ideal of economic freedom and the ability to create and innovate and be the best at every fucking thing, if we want to export that ideal to other countries, it's not a military conquest, okay? You can't. How many times have we tried to just insert ourselves into some country?
This was why I feel like, and I said this in a video recently, like I feel like we honestly need something kind of like the Prime Directive from Star Trek. Where it's like, does this country want us here? Are they fucking socially ready for the kind of shit we want to do? Like these basic kind of questions.
Yeah, those are
you
valid
know?
questions.
It's not even that. You know what, dude? When it comes down to like a cultural war, when you're talking, I'm not even talking about war. I'm just talking about a cultural expansion.
Mm-hmm.
You win hearts and minds by just radiating how much fucking better you are. That's really the fucking idea behind it. You just attract more like minds and bodies in other countries and more like governments by showing that the standard of living for everybody across the board, the people at the top of your society, the people at the bottom of it, they all live better. They all make things that are better. That's how you win.
Look at our entertainment industry. That's such a big export of this country. That's a net positive, actually, for the image of America more than anything. Is just watching the television shows and the fucking movies and the music, the art, the culture that comes out. Like
right.
That's one of our fucking cultural bright spots.
Reinvest in that shit.
And that gets a lot of people wanting to come to this country or interested in our culture.
And even more importantly, it gets people in other places across oceans emulating that culture.
Oh, 100%.
and demanding that culture from their own cultures. That's how you win the war of disparate ideologies due to geographical distance.
And those distances are shrinking every day. That the divide is getting smaller and smaller. The exchange of information is getting faster and faster. It's not going to fucking slow down. It's going to get faster. We know that. We understand that. And you're exactly right. We have to fucking win the minds of people on this fucking planet, not fucking put a gun at their fucking head and say, this is what you need to do.
Dude, if somebody came here and if China came here and kicked your door in and put you under subjugation for like fucking 20 years, how likely are you to just be like, oh, yeah, I'm a happy Chinese citizen now?
All their
It's
ideas are
retarded.
great. Yeah, no one's going to think that.
So the idea is let's invest in ourselves again. Let's invest in the rest of the world economically where it's needed. Let's give financial aid where we can and stop supporting fucking places that abuse their populations. Give those people a place to come easily, without paperwork, without bullshit, without waiting for 6 months. Let them come now. Let them all fucking come. See how long those governments stand if they don't have slave labor to run their mills. And you know what? You know when you use your military? When one of those fucking countries starts to try and stop people from coming here. Then you intercede. Then you put them under the fucking gun and you say, let anybody that wants to leave with us leave. Keep whoever wants to live under the boot of subjugation and let the rest of your population walk out from under you. See how fast they change. It was already happening in the Middle East. Iran used to be a fucking blooming society.
So was Afghanistan.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Then the Russians kicked in the front fucking door, and then it was up. Then now we have our turn now.
The boot of militarism crushed everything out of that fucking area, and the only thing that's going to fix it is giving those people something better.
It's true.
And you can't do that by investing in little fucking ramshackle HUD homes.
So the poll
they've been given
and
dog
bottled
shit.
water.
The poll that we did a little earlier.
How's it fucking
I've gone
coming
ahead
out?
and closed the poll.
Oh, it's closed. Is it definitive?
It's pretty definitive.
Okay.
Until the Yang Gang hashtag Yang Gangs and shows up. Andrew Yang has 31 votes for 22%.
Wow.
Bernard Sanders has
Nice.
92 votes at 66%. Biden has 6 votes at
Biden's-
4%.
Fair enough.
And some other person has 6% with 9 votes. So that kind of shows me, our audience is listening to 2 people on this stage and not really anyone else at this point.
Well, I don't blame them. There's really a couple of, maybe 3 candidates on stage tonight. This is not one of them, by the way, in the weird Godzilla green coat.
Yeah, that's why I feel pretty safe just ignoring 100% of what's going on. I mean, I
Now,
guess,
look, I'll say this. If Godzilla breaks into this fucking university, auditorium right now and gives his support to her, then she has my vote. But
Well,
beyond
yeah.
that, beyond
Who
that,
wouldn't go with Godzilla?
I mean, but beyond that, she has not my vote. I mean, if that happens, if that unlikely a sequence of events occurs, then she has my vote. Beyond that, I'm sorry, I can't give you my support.
let's see if she's saying anything ridiculous.
I mean, when Godzilla
To
fucking
do
comes
if
in
we're
as a
gonna get
nuclear
at
blast
climate
on the
change
audience, then we know you're
this
good.
on as a crisis that's
been muted
happening
for a
right
while.
now.
Senator Warren, should American foreign policy be based around the principle of climate change?
Yes. We need to work on every front on climate change. It is the threat to every living
I'm gonna
thing
sneeze.
on this planet. Running out of
What about the
time.
jellyfish?
Every
Lord
time the
bless you.
scientists
I think
the
go back,
jellyfish
they
is
say
gonna do
we
all
have
right.
less and less time than
guess
we
I'm
thought
allergic
we
to
had.
Warren's
Bacteria is
bullshit.
going to be
But that
fine.
means we've got to use
they'll be
all the
chilling.
tools. One of the tools we need to use are our regulatory tools. I have proposed, following Governor Inslee,
I really regret
that we
unmuting
by
this.
20
Sorry.
So
Paul, please go on another psychotic rant about
okay. So you want to know what my answer to climate change
Yeah,
is?
so it's your climate change.
Yeah,
All
let's
right,
hear your
so
climate change answer.
Here's the hard facts that as I understand them about climate change.
Okay.
There's no stopping it. So we need to orient our society not only in the ways that I've been talking about in rebuilding what it is, but that's part of it. Climate change is part of building these cities to where you can use public transit, reduce the amount of cars on the. We're going to have to do that if we're going to bounce back from this shit.
drastically cut CO2 emissions.
But you're going to have to fucking prepare for the coming climate collapse. And that means a massive reinvestment campaign in infrastructure. That means a massive rethinking in what a job is. And all of the shit that I've been talking about is directly linked to climate change. Because here's the problem. Warren was just talking about using the regulatory power of the government to reduce plastics and CO2 emissions. And I'm all for that. Whatever. That's fine. But the truth of the matter is that other places are going to continue to dump plastic into the ocean. Other places are going to continue to ramp up their industrial economy on dirty sources of fuel like coal and fossil and blah, 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 right? If we don't have a global solution to this, then there's no fucking solution at all. And that means all of the shit I've been talking about tonight. It means opening the borders. It means establishing a new fucking standard of living for the entire fucking world.
Oh, we'd have to.
And unleashing a new wave of creativity, the likes of which we haven't seen since the last time we needed one, which is 1 billion times in the history of this fucking country. I don't know where this can't do bullshit comes from.
Yeah, that is pretty weird.
The strange thing
I mean,
about
whether
it-
you agree with your solutions or you have some other ideas or whatever, like, I don't understand the fucking... I guess I understand it on some visceral level, this pessimistic sort of like, it can't be done, it can't be done. It's always like, I immediately dismiss anyone who does that. Like, if you want to make an argument, like, I've heard people try to argue against Yang's positions, like, it just can't be done, it can't be done. It's like, bullshit. It can definitely be done. My question is, should it be done or should it not be done? Because I don't buy the idea that it can't be done. I'll never buy that idea because everybody who said that throughout the history of not just this country but this planet has more often than not been fucking wrong.
It can be done.
They might have been right that day, but they were wrong tomorrow.
We flew a fucking tinfoil ball to the moon and landed people on it multiple times. Where's this can't do shit coming from, man? But it's not going to be the same old system with some Band-Aids on it, which is what you're hearing here. Well,
From most people.
Let's see if Yang has anything different.
All right, let's see.
Wash the money out with people-powered money. My proposal is that we give every American 100 democracy dollars that you can only give to candidates and causes that you like. This would wash out the lobbyist cash by a factor of 8 to 1. That is the only way we will win. And as someone running for president, I'll tell you, there's the people on one side and the money on the other. The only way for us to win is if we bring them together.
Thank you, Mr. Yang. Lindsay.
I like that.
I'd like to have an
I did like that in terms of cutting out the lobbyists.
We'll stay with
That'd be
you.
really beneficial.
Here in Houston, the school district is facing yet another year of spending cuts. Like schools across the country, the system faces many challenges. One of them, thousands of students are leaving traditional public schools and going to charter schools. You're the most vocal proponent on this stage for charter schools. You have said that Democrats who want to limit them are, quote, just jumping into bed with teachers' unions and doing kids a disservice. Why isn't taxpayer money better spent on fixing traditional public schools?
Let me be clear, I am pro-good school. I've got a kid, one of my little boys just started public school last week, and I was not there because I was running for president. So we need to pay teachers more because the data clearly shows that a good teacher is worth his or her weight in gold. We need to lighten up the emphasis on standardized tests, which do not measure anything fundamental about our character or human worth.
Yes. 100%.
But here's the big one. The data clearly shows that 65 to 70% of our students' outcomes are determined outside of the school. We're talking about time spent at home with the parents, words read to them when they're young, stress levels in the house, income, type of neighborhood.
Could the Yang people shut up and stop saying yeah and everything?
Know this. We're saying 100%
You're not helping
responsible
them.
for educating our kids, but you can only control 30%. They all know this. The answer is to put money directly into the families and neighborhoods to give our kids a chance to learn and our teachers a chance to teach.
Mayor Buttigieg, 45 seconds.
Fair point.
Mayor Buttigieg.
So, Paul, I know you used to work for a school district, so what did you think of that answer?
Completely ignorant of the actual fucking on-the-ground reality in most fucking public schools. Completely and utterly ignorant of it. Now, I will say that I am a proponent of the charter school system, and I only recently became a proponent of that. Well, not super recently, but in kind of knowing somebody that went through the charter school system in Texas and seeing how it actually does something that I've talked about in education for the longest time, which is start separating kids into schools by their aptitude.
Right.
Oh, 100%.
So in Texas, at least in the
sort
San
of
Antonio
approaches.
area in Texas, that's how a lot of kids go to school. And I've seen how it funnels them towards things that they're interested in, towards things that they have aptitude. And that's how you create people that want to go out into the workforce and do good jobs. On that front, that's a big deal. But I don't know that charter schools is the answer. On the teachers front, There's a huge glaring problem that none of these Democrats is going to fucking talk about up here, probably. Teachers' unions are killing public schools. And not because they're vamping them dry, because teachers are underpaid. I totally agree with what Yang just said. They're totally underpaid. But the problem is not the payment. It's the problem is the defense of shit fuck teachers.
Right.
And I got to tell you,
same
dude,
with like the police unions.
call it anecdotal if you want. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I worked for one fucking school district for a lot of years.
Of course.
But I am telling you, dude, there are a lot of teachers that should not be teaching. And there are a lot of young people that are hot to trot, want to come out, want to teach these kids that are not finding positions because they're occupied by some person that's been there for 10 years and has tenure and automatically gets defense from the fucking teachers union, no matter how they do with the kids. And these classrooms produce kids that don't give a fuck about school, who are bored with school. And that sticks with them from grade to grade to grade, because a lot of these kids just skip from one bad teacher to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. If you don't intercede in that problem, then you can fuck the rest of this, as far as it comes to public school. Get rid of it and replace it with a national fucking government-funded charter school initiative.
Oh, dude, you're so right. There's teachers in school. I'm sure all of us have this experience. We had teachers like, oh, I love this teacher. This teacher's so great. And then teachers like, why the fuck's this person a teacher? They fucking literally hate children. They hate kids. They hate being around them.
And let me tell you why I'm also passionate about this fucking education issue. Because I got a pretty fucking goddamn decent public education, dude. I'm not even going to lie. I know a lot of people in my generation didn't, but I saw how it could be done. I went to school. I had more good teachers than I had shit teachers. I found a teacher that really engaged me in something that I was passionate about, kept me in school right at the time I needed it, right when I got out of fucking middle school. I just found a mentor. You know what I mean? I had a good experience in public school, so I know it can be done. And I know at one time, maybe it was being done in a lot of places.
Not no mo.
Teachers, 94% of them are coming out of their own pocket to help pay for school supplies. And that is wrong. I also want to talk about where we are here at TSU and what it means in terms of HBCUs. I have, as part of my proposal, that we will put $2 trillion into investing in our HBCUs for teachers because...
That doesn't fix the overall education system, though.
Because, one, as a proud graduate of a historically black college and university...
Dude, I could go on for fucking days.
Black college.
Dude,
well, the reason
the amount of waste in the public education system would blow your fucking dick in the dirt. The amount of absolute waste, amount of money that's just wadded up and thrown in the fucking trash would make you shit your fucking pants, dude. Investing in technology that nobody uses, not hiring more teachers and building more buildings to reduce the class sizes.
Well, Americans view this problem as an economic problem. They think how much money is being spent on this problem, and that's kind of like the idea, like what you're talking about. No one's really thinking about that because we're thinking either education is underfunded, or we're not doing enough here. We're not giving kids enough supplies. We're not. There's something that's concrete that we're not doing.
Do you know where it goes to?
Probably just more technology bullshit.
Technology bullshit.
And probably administrator salaries.
Administrative costs.
Yep.
The top of the fucking pyramid is a giant money fest in the public school system.
We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world, and yet we have the highest child poverty rate of almost any country on earth. We have teachers in this country who are leaving education because they can't work 2 or 3 jobs to support themselves, which is why under my legislation, we will move to see that every teacher in America makes at least $60,000 a year. What we will also do is not only have universal pre-K, we will make public colleges and universities and HBCUs debt-free. And what we will also do, because this is an incredible burden on millions and millions of young people who did nothing wrong except try to get the education they need, we are going to cancel all student debt in this country.
Thank
you, Senator. Thank you, Senator.
I love it. That's where you cut him off, huh?
Thank you. No, please stop talking. No more of that.
No! Silence! I know so many people who are fucking under mountains and mountains and mountains of student loan debt.
Dude, a girl I went to school with, I saw a post she made on Facebook, and her daughter is about to go into college. And
she still hadn't paid off her student loan
and
debt,
she's
huh?
hoping she has her student loan paid off by the time she takes on her daughter's student loan.
Right. You know,
That's ridiculous, dude.
You can't get it dismissed in bankruptcy. They can not only garnish your wages to come after it, but they can actually garnish your Social Security checks because some people actually qualify for Social Security in this country
still
before they've paid off their
By the
fucking
way,
student loan debt.
that'll be a dream for people that are about 20 now.
Right.
You're not seeing a fucking dollar of SSI.
Interest, what happens is they stop making payments. They don't defer the payments. They just simply stop paying usually because they can't afford it. And then the interest on these loans builds up massively. Like we're talking about,
graduates.
So then it's like they owe $200,000+ after 30 or 40 years of not paying anything on it. They're fucked.
My wife Chelsea went to like a couple of semesters of fucking college, and she's still paying it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Years and years later, a couple semesters, didn't even fucking get a degree from it. Just went for a few semesters.
I went back to college 3 times, and I have no debt whatsoever because I went to nothing but the first time I went on a scholarship to a state university, and then the second 2 times I went to a community college.
Right.
That's the only attainable form of college for most people at the lower bottom, end of the, and it's almost unattainable. It's expensive as fuck. But it's not as expensive as taking on these specialty fucking college debts and all these fucking trade schools and shit that charge out the ass and give these high percentage loans.
And I'm going to school now, so it's so reinforced. Like you need to go to college. So people take on this massive.
It's just not true.
Well, I think about all the debt people take on, but you all do. Everyone I know is going to this school, or everyone's going to this, university, and then they take $80,000 to $100,000 of debt on.
The idea that you should have to make a $200,000 commitment as soon as you're 18 in this country is fucking absurd.
Yeah, before your brain's even fully formed or anything.
Before we know that you even have the capacity to be a fully functioning like adult brain.
I mean, I knew a dude who went to art school. And, he learned from some really good artists and shit, and he became a pretty good artist. Really good, honestly.
Yeah.
But, it's a pretty hard world to make a lot of money in. It's like there's a big gap between being at the absolute top of that world and being anywhere else in it.
Right.
Yeah.
So, he ended up working, a web design job that paid, like $30,000, $40,000 a year.
Right.
And that doesn't cover a fucking $80,000 fucking student loan to learn from the art masters and shit.
I don't know.
No,
it doesn't.
So that's, I know so many people in fucking crazy debt from that shit. And even people who got more practical degrees like, chemistry or fucking, biology, whatever.
A lot of those degrees are no
shit.
longer practical unless you just want to teach that subject.
Right.
That's the the problem is that our infrastructure and our investment in those types of technologies has been handed over to a handful of giant tech companies who only recruit from the fucking top universities worldwide and shit.
Right.
And exclude your average chemistry student that goes through fucking community college and busts his
100%.
ass. So the idea, the principal idea is flawed. Of funneling people into these fucking industries when there's no demand for it. If you want there to be demand for chemists and biologists and electrical engineers and fucking all of these technologically tinged jobs, you have to invest in the infrastructure of the country. You have to make this a place where those things are flourishing again. Because as long as they're being held on to by these tiny, ever smaller group of corporations that conglomerate all this shit, then you're never going to have an entry point as an average citizen into anything. They're gobbling it all up. If you don't suckle this teat, if you don't go to this school, you're fucked.
Yeah, bend the knee to somebody. You have to.
And there's a lot of esoteric degrees, too, that people are encouraged to get.
Women's studies.
Liberal arts degrees. And where really the only fucking avenue that these people have is like, well, come teach it. Or
I'm an English major.
And this is really common, too, which is something that we have to stop tinged to education while we're talking about it. Here's what happens to people who get these fucking esoteric degrees and dreamt of being chemists in a lab because they grew up watching Beekman's World and shit. You know what I mean? and they find out they can't do it. They end up being funneled into the fucking public school system to teach sometimes not even their fucking area of expertise. Chemistry teachers, people that have chemistry degrees with the teaching adjunct and the fucking English add-on so they can teach English in fucking high school.
Or they do a job that's no relation to their degree at all.
Let me tell you one thing about fucking education. If you don't put somebody that is passionate about the subject they're teaching in front of these kids, your chances of getting one of them to fucking go through and care a fucking whit about what you're trying to instill in them is nil. Slim to none.
Thinking about isolated, disconnected from other issues. That's why my friend Secretary Castro was 100% right.
Man, why do I even fucking bother?
Right now, because Vice President, of overtly racist policies, not 400 years ago, just in my lifetime, that we're redlining communities, disinvesting in communities, and more than just that, my kids are not only struggling with.
I hate fucking. Why do I have to listen to Cory Booker talk? I can't take it, dude.
It sucks.
Listen to Cory, dude. Listen to Cory.
I can't fucking take it.
If you've talked to someone who's a parent of a child who's had permanent brain damage because of lead, you'll know this is a national problem because there's over 3,000 jurisdictions in America where children have more than twice the blood lead levels of Flint, Michigan.
Thank you.
And so if I'm President of the United States, it is a holistic solution to education, from raising teacher salary, fully funded special education.
I missed the lead point, I guess.
The issues of poverty.
Oh shit, he just had a fucking Ted Cruz moment. Did you see it?
What'd he do?
A booger jumped out of his mouth and hit his lip and then he sucked it up.
Did he?
I fucking shit you not.
All
right, well, we gotta go back to see rewind it.
America, where children have more than twice the blood lead levels of Flint, Michigan.
Watch his lips.
And so if I'm President of the United States, it is a holistic solution to education, from raising teacher salary, fully funded special education.
Oh my God!
But combating the issues of poverty.
I seen it.
Combating the
He did
issues
it.
of racial segregation.
Oh man, what the
issues
fuck
of
was
criminal
that?
justice
He's a talented
system,
man.
Parents away from their kids and dealing
It's
with
like a magic
environmental
trick.
justice
He
as
pulled
a
a Ted
major
Cruz.
pillar of any climate policy.
Thank you.
Fucking
Tonight streaming on ABC News Live.
Check.
ABC News.
I sound like I'm in a fishbowl. Okay, there we go.
The most innovative podcast
Roll
out
over
there.
and say it's Start Here. The
Oh,
daily
fuck
news
this.
They're just
Let's
plugging
mute
their,
this
yeah, they're
bullshit.
just plugging their fucking app.
Yeah, no. There's no solutions on the stage tonight, really. There's a fucking there's some better solutions to keep the fucking bleeding to a minimum while society descends further into an ultra-capitalist nightmare that eventually turns this fucking
the late-stage capitalism
world
nightmare.
into a raped cinder for the next fucking species to
But
have
Paul,
a try
people
at.
made a lot of money in that time.
You know what I mean? And that's really my problem. That's why I can't philosophically go down to the voting booth and shit, because I'm not in support of that. I'm not in support of staunching the blood flow with a little tourniquet here and a little bandage there and a little stitching there to kick the can down the road.
Let's see how your message is resonating with the people, Paul.
Yeah, 0.1%.
Is Paul right?
Dude, Paul is
Dude, I'm going to get a bunch of no's, dude.
Paul's going to get a no.
There is a lot of resistance to the idea that we can make this place a fucking better place to be, but that we can't do it under the current system.
I'm not saying Paul's 100% right, but at least Paul wants to fucking break out of the fucking box that all these motherfuckers are in.
And look, dude, I'm not claiming to be some great political sage. I'm a stoner fucking neckbeard talking on a podcast in front of 660.
Oh, yeah.
But you recognize that playing a
down
broken
off it now.
record
I'm
is
trying to back down.
Trying to back on
no,
down.
what Paul recognizes is playing a broken record endlessly is still playing a broken record. And
I
that's
gave
what
him a
he's
lot of
saying.
nuance, Paul. I gave him a lot of nuance with this. I said, is
Paul
Paul
dumb
right?
or Paul smart? Which one?
Yes, on some shit, on most shit, and no.
Oh, okay.
So they can be nuanced with it. They ain't got a full-throated endorse
They don't have
or
to be like
deny
all the way
you.
on Paul, Team Paul, but I think
Well,
dip a toe.
vote.
Vote,
Let me know if I'm
vote,
right.
y'all. What you got to say about Paul's positions? Because he's out there. Are they leaving? Is it over? I think it's over.
Is it over? What?
Yeah, I guess it's over.
Oh, yeah, they didn't get closing statements.
Yeah, because they're not doing closing statements in
okay,
this
so
one.
Maybe it's
let's make
over.
sure.
I think it's over.
Maybe they're just taking
people
a
are clearing
break.
out. See?
Give
Hold
them
up, what
volume.
time is it?
Give them some volume, TJ.
Let's see.
Has some great moments. She's really showing herself strong, I think, talking directly to Trump, which is what people want.
Yeah, impressive
No, they
start.
don't.
Man,
No, they
Cory
don't.
Booker has
I
had
don't
a
want
couple
it.
last
People want to
nights.
be
I
able to
think
pay their
everybody
bills
is doing a
or
really
not
good
have
job today.
bills.
I am very impressed with this field, and I think what we're seeing is
are?
people shine on issues that they are great at.
What we're
And
seeing. So it
you're
sounds like they're just
seeing,
taking a break. Everybody's
Biden
going backstage
and,
to refresh.
talk about his history.
It kinda sounds
I know
like
he
it's
got
not
tripped
over.
up a bit. He's finding his way back. You see Warren and you see Bernie doing their thing, their tag
Gotta
team on
ask you about
Medicare for all.
before we got to go here, I got to ask you about Julian Castro going hard at Joe Biden. He's getting a bit of blowback on Twitter.
Well,
Do you think that was a fair attack?
I don't think it's fair. I mean, we are preparing for someone who's going to take on Trump.
What kind of fucking commentary is this?
And
Everyone
I think
did a
at the end
real
of the
good
day,
job.
We have to make sure that we're
All's
preparing
fair
this
in love
guy
and
for
war,
a
baby.
rough and
We're at
tumble
war.
thing. And
There's
to
a
say
war
to him,
going on.
oh, you don't
It's a
remember
war of
what you
ideas,
just said is a
so
fair,
it is fair.
assessment. I'm all about
Fuck
civility,
fair.
but I'm
What's
also about
this
this
fucking
is our
fair
test
bullshit?
for
Like
the
anyone in this
real
country gives a
competitor.
fuck about
Trump
fair.
is not going to be nice.
The concept of fair shouldn't even be uttered unironically from the lips of any supporter of the status quo in this fucking country.
Damn right.
You want anything even approaching fair, you need to
Here
rethink.
after the debate,
I have a little different perspective.
Yeah, fuck these people. Pause this shit. Mute this shit. Fuck these people.
Piss, man. They have nothing to say.
Mute.
Yeah, go piss. Go take a Democratic debate.
The poll's still going, y'all.
Yeah.
Go vote on that poll. You got to have a Vimeo account. That kind of sucks, but you can create one. It's not that hard.
Vote-a-lote, dote.
I think you got to have a Vimeo account. I might be wrong on that, but it's not hard to create one. It's super easy, barely inconvenience. So you can do that real fucking lickety split. Go vote. Let us know what you think about Paul's positions.
What do you think about my positions, TJ?
If I was voting in this
Be
poll,
honest.
If I was voting in
No,
this
no,
poll,
I don't want to know what you vote in a stupid online poll. Tell me what you think about my positions that I've laid out tonight.
I think they're interesting, Paul.
They're interesting?
Real interesting positions, Paul.
They're
real interesting.
Wow,
real
TJ.
interesting. Super interesting, Paul.
Razor sharp analysis. Yeah, they're
real
coming
interesting.
back out.
Are they? All right.
Yeah, we don't have to, pay attention, and I'm just letting you know. They're
All
not
right.
done.
Well, we'll see what happens.
I think they've got another half hour.
Yeah,
45
I don't even know why
minutes
they
of
bother
shit.
taking a fucking break on this. Let's just get to the fucking finish line on
Give
this
them
shit.
some water that they can sip there at the podium or something. If they can't stand for a fucking 3 hours,
And
they
someone,
can't
for
be
the love of
president.
God, clear Bernie's fucking throat out.
I don't think they're. I think he's just blown it out.
Yeah,
Doing
it
a
sounds
lot
like
of
he's been
fucking
doing
rallying.
too much rallies. Maybe fucking have him relax on the rallies before these debates.
About starting doing some digital town halls and shit.
Yeah, where you can just kind of talk in a normal voice. And you got to
Start
yell.
streaming. Let people fucking ask you questions live. Call in.
That's a good idea.
What the fuck?
All right, let's see what this fuck's about.
And mistakes. So I want to ask each of you, what's the most significant professional setback you've had to face? How did you recover from it?
And let the
what did you
bullshit
learn
continue.
from it? Vice President Biden.
All right, so this is what's your biggest flaw, basically.
Okay.
I have no
I
flaws.
never counted any professional setback I have as a serious setback. There's things that are important, things that are unimportant.
Oh, God, shut up.
Bernie's like, keep talking. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you guys are retards.
So what is the message being lost in the cacophony of fucking egos out there?
If you want to find the dumbest
Senator
person in
Biden,
the
we'll
room,
start the clock again.
you just have to fucking find the loudest.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to let you start the clock. See, if these people were smart, they would have done this one at a time, every fucking 5 minutes on the dot throughout this whole fucking affair. It sounded like there was 20 or 30 of them.
And I think the most critical setback that can occur to anyone is to lose. Well, my dad had an expression. He said, "Joey, it's not a question of succeeding whether you get knocked down; it's how quickly you get up."
Yeah, I never heard that one
he
before.
said, never
Real
explain
original.
and never complain.
Yeah,
And then go on
your
to say
dad
that
and everybody
the only
else.
obligation
I
that
get
really
knocked
matters,
down,
the most
and I get up
important
again.
thing
Was your dad the
is
lead
family.
singer of Chumbawamba?
I was raised to
That's pretty
believe
cool.
that was the
Do you write
center
tub
of
thumping?
family. And it could be judged on based how you
Jesus.
treat your family.
These
And
bland
and how you went from
anecdotes
there.
are
And
not what
I,
people want to hear.
it
Yeah,
took,
why are we
you know,
wasting time on
Kierkegaard
this
said,
fucking
faith sees best in the dark.
shitty
Right after I
work,
got elected, my wife and
fucking
daughter were
resume
killed in a
question?
automobile
Can
accident
fucking
in my-
goddamn Joe
and my,
Biden roll out
my
any
two
more
sons are badly
cliches
injured.
during his
And I
answer,
just been
please?
elected, not sworn in. And I
You
lost
win
my
some,
faith
you
for a
lose
while.
some.
I came back. And
Kill
then
two
later,
birds
my
with one
son
stone.
From Iraq and with a terminal disease, and a year and a half later,
Get back in the
losing
saddle.
him was like losing part of my
Keep
soul.
your chin
But
up.
the fact is that I learned that the way you deal with
Oh,
it
you lost your
is
soul a
deal with finding
long
purpose.
time ago. I
You
wouldn't worry
sold
about that.
that down the fucking river to Satan a
And
long
that's
time
why
ago.
I hope
The devil,
hope he's
the
proud of me
dollar.
today because he wanted to make sure I
Dollar
didn't
devil.
run for president, but I stayed engaged. Because when you get hit badly, whether you're losing a job or you're raising a
God.
family like
When
my
you get
dad
knocked
was,
down, you got to get up
never
again.
gonna
You're
slow
never
down.
going to keep me down. I get knocked down. When I get up again,
You know,
never
you
going to
gotta
keep me
do
down.
some form or another. It just takes, for me, the way I've dealt with it is finding purpose. And my purpose is do what I've always tried to do and stay engaged in public policy. But there's a lot of people that through a lot worse than I have get up every single
Can we have
morning,
someone in the crowd
put
yell
their feet
again?
one
That'd be
foot
cool.
in front of another without the help I had. They're real heroes out there. So
Thank
real
you, Mr.
heroes.
Vice President. Senator Warren.
Thank you. Yes, thank
What
you
a
for-
bland, banal bunch of fucking shitty old
I
man
mentioned earlier,
anecdotes. Thank
I've known
you.
what I wanted to be since second grade.
Can we just get like a
I
generic
wanted to
Joe
be
Biden
a
word
Indian
soup generator?
princess.
And I invested early. I used to line my dollies up and teach school. I had a reputation for being tough but fair.
Tough but fair.
By the time I graduated from high
Fair
school,
but
my
tough but
family
fair.
didn't have money for a college
With her
application, much
dollies.
less to send me off to 4 years
My
at a
dolly.
university.
I was tough but fair
and
with my
story, like a lot of
dollies.
stories, has a lot of twists and turns. Got a scholarship, and then at 19, got married, dropped out of school, took a minimum wage job, thought my dream was over. I got a chance down the road at the University of Houston. And I made it as a special needs teacher. I still remember that first year as a special needs teacher. I could
Isn't
tell
this
you
supposed to
what
be
those
how
students
about
looked
like
I
your
had
weaknesses and you suck and
46-year-olds.
shit, right?
No,
But at
this
the
the
end of
question
the
was
year,
worded. What was the
I was
biggest
visibly
challenge you
pregnant.
had in your professional
And
career?
It wasn't
Right.
challenge though. It was
That
like
meant that the
Failure?
principal said to me,
yeah, like regret kind
wish
of.
me luck,
regret?
Seemed more like that to me.
and
I don't know.
hired someone else for the job.
But I guess not. Never
wasn't
mind. Maybe I was
fine.
wrong.
Look,
Close to
TJ,
time.
my
Home,
biggest
I got a
regret
baby, I can't
is that I
have a
not
job.
graced the public with
What
my
am I gonna
presence
do?
sooner.
Here's resilience. I said, I'll go to law school. And the consequence was
Good for you.
Man, I hate this
practiced
personal
law for about
story
45
bullshit
minutes.
so much.
And
Oh,
then
my
went
God.
back to my first love,
La,
which
la,
is
la.
teaching. But it let me get into fights.
Please
it
end.
gave me new
End.
tools. And the reason I'm
End.
standing here today
End.
is because I got back
End.
up, I fought back. I know what's
I get
broken.
knocked down
wanna
and I get up
I'm
again.
to fix
You're
it.
never gonna
Same
keep
thing.
me down.
You and Uncle Joe can go get a fucking room
Senator
together.
Sanders.
Is it gonna be? Please don't, Bernie. Don't do a
me,
get knocked
Oh,
down.
please.
Growing up
Please,
in a
Bernie.
rent-controlled apartment in Brooklyn, New York, the son of an immigrant
That's not a
who
failure
came
of
to
yours.
this country without a nickel in his pocket.
That's that's the
Professional
circumstance.
Maybe it
resilience
was
means to me,
challenge. I don't
George,
know.
running for U.S. Senate in Vermont and getting 1% of the vote. Running for governor and getting 2% of the vote. Finally becoming mayor of Burlington, Vermont with 10-vote margin. What resilience means to me
I
is
get
that
knocked
throughout
down
my political
and I get up
career,
again. You're
I
never
have
gonna
taken
keep me
on
down.
virtually every powerful
So this everyone's gonna
special
give their
interest in
Chumbawamba
this country.
speech, I guess, in this section.
Whether
Yep.
it is Wall Street,
Piss in the night
whether it
away.
is the insurance industry,
It takes a whiskey drink.
whether it is
It takes
the
a vodka drink. It
pharmaceutical
takes a lager
industry,
drink. It takes a cider drink.
corruption
He sings a
and
song that
greed
reminds him of the
is
good
killing
times. He
people
sings a
today.
song that reminds him of the better times.
Whether it is
So next
a
time I ask this question, just play
military-industrial
Chumbawamba's
complex
song.
or a prison industrial complex. And I feel confident
What's it called,
that
Tub
given
Thumping?
a lifelong
Tub
record
Thumping by Chumbawamba.
of taking on powerful special interests,
Just play that
of
next time.
standing up for
Save
the
us a lot of
working
time.
families of this country, that I will be able to take on the greed and corruption of the corporate elite and
Do it
create
already.
a
Do
government
it. Just
and an
fucking
economy
do it.
that work for all of us, not just the 1%.
Thank you,
1%,
Senator Sanders.
motherfucker.
Senator Harris.
Oh God.
You know,
this
raise
could
it
be, this
up
could be the
top.
worst one.
You know, every
Turn this into a
office I've
Trump
run
attack
for,
somehow,
whether
would
it
you?
be district attorney or attorney general.
Every chance I got in my
was told
life to
each time,
snitch on somebody, I just
it can't be
did.
done. They
And
said
then I became
nobody
a
like you has done
prosecutor
it
and
before.
locked people up for pot because I
Nobody
liked it.
is ready for you.
Now I want to be your president
when
because I want to put my
ran for
fucking
DA, I
jackboot
won
on
and
your
became the
throat
first
because
black
I
woman
like it.
elected DA
You
in
don't
a
smell
state of 40 million
the
people
authoritarian
in
boot
San Francisco. When I ran
when you
for
hear this
Attorney
woman
General
talk, I don't know what to
California,
fucking do to
I
you.
was elected because I didn't listen. And I was the only woman black elected attorney
You're actually
general
politically
in the
connected.
state, in the country.
So you're a liar, as usual.
And each time people would say,
How was she politically
"It's
connected,
not
Scotty?
your time,
She was connected
it's
to
not
that,
your turn, it's going to
dude
be
who was
too
the mayor,
difficult,
remember?
they're not ready.
Oh, right.
She was his.
And I didn't
right, we
listen,
covered
and a
that.
part of it probably
Yeah,
comes
so
from the way that I was
it's
raised
special.
by
More
my mother,
lies out of you.
who
Come
said
on, more lies.
many things.
There was a rumored
that were life lessons for
relationship
me,
there,
including,
too.
Don't you
No
ever
one
let
believed in
anybody
me
tell
except for
you
that
who you
super
are.
powerful
Was it
man
Willie
whose dick
Brown?
I sucked.
Yeah, it was Willie, wasn't it?
And
She sucked his brown willy.
When I look around
Oh.
the
And then
town
she
halls
became-
that
You gotta
we
get
do
ahead,
in this
TJ.
race for president of the United States, and I look at
DA stood for dad
the
ass.
meetings that we do
Man.
in the community meetings, and
I don't know
see these little girls
how many
and
more
boys,
election cycles do you think people are going to
sometimes
just
even
listen to
brought
these
by their
dead-eyed
fathers,
zombies
and they
drone on
bring
and
them
on
to
and
me,
on and
I
on about
talk to them
nothing?
during these
Probably
events,
forever, dude.
and
Like,
they're
how
full
long
of
until it's
joy,
just chaos in the
and their
streets,
fathers
blood
tell
beneath
them,
the
"See,
sheets?
What is
God, I
that?
hope it would just happen now.
Don't you ever listen and let anybody
No,
ever
you
tell
don't.
you
I'm
what
ready
you
for
can
it.
or
Ready
cannot
for it.
do.
You ain't
have
ready-
to
you ain't ready
believe
for
in
Mad
what
Max.
can be
I'm ready for it, Paul.
unburdened
Mute
by
these
what has
fucking
been.
mute this shit.
Senator Harris, thank
I
you
want to
very
hear these.
much.
I think this is going
Why
to
do you
be
want to hear these?
because I think this is going to be their final statement of the night. I think this is the closest they get to a
military
fucking closing
officers
remark
serving
or
under
whatever.
Don't Ask, Don't Tell.
So I want to hear
And as
them
an
all.
elected
Give them
official
a fair
in the
chance
state of Indiana
to each
when
give their
Mike Pence was
Chumbawamba
governor.
speech, Paul.
All right, fair enough.
At a certain point, when it came to professional
I like what you have to say
setbacks,
better, but there's
I had
pretty
to
much
wonder
no
whether
chance
just
you're going to be president.
acknowledging
So
who
Why
I
not?
was
I don't know.
was going to be
Why
an
don't you
ultimate
run then?
You're not running.
career-ending
All right, I'll run
professional
next year.
setback.
I'll run next cycle.
Next cycle,
I came back
Paul.
from the deployment
2024,
and
Paul's
realized
ego,
that
save the world.
you only get to live one life, and
Bring
I
on
was
the
not
nukes.
interested
Bring on the nukes.
in not knowing what it was like to be in love any longer. So I just came out. I had no idea what
he's
kind
gonna
of
his coming
professional
out still.
setback it would
Oh,
be,
yeah,
especially
his coming out
because
story.
inconveniently, it was an election year in my socially conservative community. What happened was that when I trusted voters to judge me based on the job that I did for them, they decided to trust me and reelected me with 80% of the vote. And what I learned was that trust
Wow.
can be reciprocated.
I mean, it was just me.
And that
You know how it is.
part of how you can win and deserve
Wow,
to win is to know
Buttigieg.
what's worth
That's
more to you
good,
than winning.
man.
And I think that's what we need in the
My small
presidency
hick town is
right
like,
now.
even though you a
We have to
faggot,
know
we
what
still
we are
love you.
about. And this election is
Beautiful.
not about
Yeah, it's
any
funny
of
how
us up
you
here.
shit on your
It is not
hometown, but
about
then praise it at the
this
same
president,
time.
even though
My
it's hard to
hometown's a bunch
talk
of rural,
anything else
conservative,
some days.
dumb fuck
It's about the
hicks.
people
But even
who
they
trust us
love
with
me.
their lives.
Well,
The
doesn't
kid
that
wondering
prove
if
him
we're
wrong,
actually
though?
going to make their schools safe when they've
yeah, I
learned
guess, I don't know.
active shooter drills
Who cares?
before they've learned to read.
He was proved
A
wrong the
generation
moment he
wondering whether
stepped
you will
on
actually
stage
get
as
the
Pete
job done
Buttigieg.
Oh, he's
on
full of
climate
shit,
change.
dude.
And if we
They're
hold
all
to
full
that,
of shit.
then it doesn't matter what happens to each of us professionally.
And you know, if Tulsi was
Together,
here, by the way,
we will
she'd
win
just be
a
like,
better
I
era
was
for
a
our
troop
country.
and I was in the military, and when we were
Thank you.
driving through Fallujah and blah, 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 blah.
But TJ, she would have had them shiny tits.
I was an unhappy lawyer
They've
for
been
5 whole
shiny.
months, and I left
I
to
love
start a
them
business.
shiny
And I'm
tits,
going to
dude.
share
I
with
miss
you
them
all
on
one
the
of the
stage.
secrets to entrepreneurship.
Oh,
If you want to
You know,
start
Yang's
something,
got pretty small
tell
hands,
everyone
too.
You know you're
He
going to do
does.
it.
You
And
know
then you
what
don't
they
have a
say.
choice.
Small
you put your heart
hands.
and soul into it, and even though I did that, my company flopped, had its mini rise and maximum fall, lost investors hundreds of thousands of dollars, still owed $100,000 in school debt. My parents still told people I was a lawyer. I guess it was a little easier. So I remember lying on my floor, looking up, wondering how it had come to this. Eventually, I picked myself back up. I kept working
And I
in
get up
small
again.
growth
You know,
companies
yeah.
for another 10
Blah,
years, and
blah.
eventually had some success.
It's all the same.
Then after I did have some success, I still remembered how
I want
hard
someone
it was,
to just
how
be
isolating
like,
it was, how it
I
feels
never
like your
recovered
friends,
from my low in
no
life.
longer want to spend time with
Especially
you.
as you get
And so
down
I
the
spent
candidate
Yeah, that's
roster.
why I'm here.
I want Amy
starting
Klobuchar
and
to just be like,
running a
I
nonprofit
put in
that
my
helps
sucked
train young
and I
entrepreneurs
sucked
around
then
the
and I
country,
suck now, and that's why I'm
including
at the
Sean
end of the
Wynn, who's here in
fucking
audience
stage.
tonight, who left his gilded Wall Street job job to become a food entrepreneur in San Antonio. Sean, I hope I made the process a little bit easier for you than it was for me. But the goal of my campaign is to make this an economy that allows us to live our human values and aspirations.
Human values.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Yang. Senator Booker.
I don't know what any of that meant, Yang. I'll be honest with you. I don't know what the fuck that was
is
about.
embarrassing because a lot of folks know about it.
Granted, the question you guys were pitched is pretty fucking stupid.
In 2002, took on
so
the political
ABC
machine,
definitely
and boy,
deserves
did
a
they
fucking
fight back.
healthy piece of the
tires
blame
on my car
pie on that
or
shit.
campaign offices were broken into. My
Yeah,
phones
why
were
does everyone a
tapped.
closing statement?
It became a spectacle.
Doesn't he look like
and
that
we
fucking,
lost that election? And here's a bit of advice
dude
to everybody:
from
if you're going to have a
Key and Peele,
spectacular
man.
failure,
Oh,
have
yeah.
a documentary team there to capture it.
Am I
because it made
racist for
for
saying that?
an
Is that another
Oscar-nominated
racism.
documentary
You did do
called
another
Street
racism.
Fight, but then unfortunately
They all
another
look
setback, it
alike.
lost
I
in
didn't
the
say they
Oscars
all
to a
look alike.
movie
I said
called March
he
of the
looks
Bagnap
like that
Penguins, for
guy
crying
from
out
But
loud.
that's the implication of what you're saying.
No, it's not.
The
Yes, it
people
is.
in my community.
I didn't say he
who
doesn't
run
look.
the
Racist.
projects
He doesn't
told
look a
me,
goddamn
"Don't give
thing
up on
like
the
Why
Peel.
don't
He
you
looks
put
like
another
fucking Peel.
picture of a
on you.
grill up on the
Create
screen,
bigger and bolder
TJ?
coalitions, and you're
Now,
gonna
why are you
fucking
so
win.
racist,
Came back
TJ?
4 years
I don't
later
know, man.
and won the
Constant
largest
racism
How I was
lobbying
raised.
victory
man.
in our city's
How I was raised,
history.
brah.
But more than that,
Raised
the lesson was there. We didn't give up. We were taking on America's toughest problems, from crime to poverty, and we transformed our city, creating tens of thousands of new jobs, the biggest economic expansion in our city, and as I said before, turned around our
We
school
enslaved
system.
more
There's
people
more
to the
work
capitalist
to do, but I
system.
haven't given up on the people. I still
Great.
live in that community. But this is the big lesson. My staff and my friends and my community told me,
God,
if you want to go
shut
fast,
up.
you may have won the mayor's race, but that's not what life is
I wish
about.
he'd
There's
go
an old African saying
away.
that says, if you want to go fast, go
Cory
alone. But if you want to
Booker.
go far,
Go
go
away.
together. The
Go
lesson
away.
I learned of resilience is to
I agree with
trust
the Delaney.
people, 'cause the
I'm
power
gonna-
of the
I
people
want Delaney
is
back.
always
Yeah, me
greater than
too.
the people in power.
I
And the
want
test of
Delaney
America
back.
right now,
Yeah.
it's not a
These
referendum on
motherfuckers
Donald
don't
Trump.
know
It's a
how to
referendum
act.
on us and who
Yeah.
we are and who we're going to be
I'm
together.
a fucking
We need
Delaney
to
act.
use this
Yeah.
moment in history
See,
to unite
hire
in
me,
common
Delaney. I'll
cause
be your fucking
and
new
common purpose,
campaign
and then there's
chairman.
nothing we
I'll
can
get this
do
back on
together.
track
First
for you,
thing is
Delaney.
every stop he
Senator
makes
Booker,
in the
thank
hot
you.
dog suit.
But the whole appeal of
Congressman
Delaney is
Moore.
it's never on
you,
track,
George.
dude.
I'll get Justin Timberlake to
Everything that
remix
I've
"Sexy
learned
Back,"
about
Delaney
resilience,
back. You know what I
I've
mean?
learned from my hometown of El Paso,
One more,
Texas.
Paul.
Sure.
In
So my biggest failure happened last year in gym. I had eaten like a pack of freezer burritos the night before, and Beavis forgot to set the alarm clock because Beavis is a dumbass. And anyway, I didn't have time to, visit the throne. So I went to school, and I had first period gym with Coach Anderson, and he was a real dick. So he had us running like laps or whatever on the track, and I was like, Coach, I need to, go take a dump. And he was like, shut up, you suck, get out there and run or whatever. And so I did. And to make a long story brown, I pooped my pants, and then everybody saw, and they called me Poopy Pants for like the rest of the year. So I would like to fix that and stuff, that failure, by banning gym, because it's stupid, because you don't know, you never know if someone had burritos like the night before. So it's real stupid to make them run. And that's what I would do. Anyway, thank you.
Senator Klobuchar. I think a lot of people support that, Paul. They don't want to fucking do gym.
Yeah,
My
I know I did.
challenges and resilience have brought me up here. I grew up with a dad
Oh, my
who struggled
fucking
with
God!
alcoholism his whole life.
Alcohol?
And
Oh,
after
yeah.
his
Call
third
out your
BWI,
dad's
Oh
alcoholism.
my God, it's the
He had a choice
same
between
old.
jail-
My dad was a
same
booze
old
hound.
fucking
He chose treatment with his
answer.
faith,
come home
with
with
his friends,
cheap
with us
whiskey on
family.
his
And
breath,
in
and
his
he
words,
beat
he
me
was
and my
pursued
mama.
by grace. And that made me interested in public service because I feel like everyone should have that same right
I had
to
a
be
tough
pursued
childhood. I had adversity.
got
Then I
married.
thought, oh
My
my
husband's
God,
out
I
there
can
somewhere,
overcome it.
hopefully
And then I
smiling.
did. Now I'm here.
And our daughter.
Okay,
And our
what
daughter
an
was
original
born. I
fucking
had
story.
this expectation we're going to have this
So
perfect,
fucking sick of it,
perfect birth.
dude.
And she was really sick.
dude.
And she couldn't swallow. And she was in and out of hospitals for a year and a half.
Are you gonna
But when
cry?
she was born, they had a rule in place that you got kicked out of the hospital in
I think
24
she's gonna
hours.
cry.
She was in intensive care.
I'm crying too.
And I was kicked out. And I thought this could never happen to any other mom again. So I went to the legislature.
And it never
our state
did.
legislature,
Never
not an
mind, it
elected
actually did a
official,
million
and
more
mom.
times.
And I advocated for one of the first laws in the country guaranteeing new moms and their babies a 48-hour hospital stay. And when they tried to delay the implementation of that law, I brought 6 pregnant friends to the conference committee, so they outnumbered the lobbyists 2-1. And when they said, when should it take place, they all raised their hand and said, now. That is what motivated me to go into public service. And when I got to that gridlock of Washington, D.C., and got to work and pass over 100 bills, and I know a lot of my friends here from the left, but remember, I am from the middle of the country. And I believe if we're going to get things done,
from the heartland of this great nation.
The ticket with
you know what, dude? I had no problem with people crying when they need to cry, but I don't want the leader of my country crying in the face of dictators and shit. And if you can't make it through an ABC debate
they came from,
believe me,
without tearing up, you can't fucking represent me.
Senator, thank you.
Take your minty green jacket off the stage.
When I stare Vladimir Putin in the eye.
Thank you, George, to Jorge,
There's not
to
a tear to
Lindsay,
be
and to
found.
David, and to all of y'all for tuning in tonight. In many ways, I shouldn't be here on this stage, you know.
Yeah, that's true. I agree. In every way.
Yes.
And was my grandmother's
First sensible thing that's been said all night.
I don't know how I'm here.
Yeah, in many ways.
Schools.
In all ways, in fact. I don't belong on this stage. I need to go away.
In fact, we all know I'm not going to win, so I bow out now. See ya.
And
oh, wait.
when I got
he
home,
shouldn't be on the stage because
I took
his
a
hard
job
upbringing.
at the biggest law firm in
Not
town.
because he shouldn't be
I
on the stage.
I know, I agree.
$1,000 a year
No,
in the year
I knew what he was
2000.
doing, but still.
A few months later, I
damn
got
it.
elected to the San Antonio City Council, and the City Council at the time was only paying $1,040 a year. So everybody had another job, and my job was at the law firm. Well, a few months after I got elected, the law firm got a client, and the client wanted those of us on the City Council to vote for a land deal.
And that client's name? It was Albert Einstein.
SpongeBob SquarePants.
Because we relied on an underground aquifer. I didn't think the Environmental Protection Plan was strong enough, so I wanted to vote against it, and my constituents wanted me to vote against it. But under the ethics rules for lawyers in Texas, because believe it or not, lawyers have ethics rules, you can't just go against the interests of a client.
Lawyer
So I was
jokes.
stuck. On the
I mean,
one
no one
hand,
likes
I wanted
lawyers,
to do
so.
the right thing. On the other hand, my livelihood, my student loans, my new house payment, my car payment depended on me shutting up, being conflicted out. So one day I walked into my law firm and I quit my job. And then I went and I voted against that land deal on the city council. And, you know, it was the first test that I had, and I think back to that because oftentimes we think of politics and you think of politics as dirty or corrupting. I wondered before I went in it whether it would change who I was.
If he quit his only
and I
means
was
of making
proud
money,
that when that
where
first
did he
test
get the money
came,
from?
that I stood up for the people that I was there to represent and not for big special interests. There's nobody that gets tested more
I'm done, man.
in
Come
a position
on.
of public trust
The end.
than the President of the
The
United
end.
States.
The end.
This president has
The
failed
end.
that test.
This
but
is
I want
the
you to
end.
know
I will
that
not
if you
fail
elect
it.
me president,
Beautiful
I won't
friend,
serve anybody
the
except
end.
you and your
Come
family.
on.
Bye-bye,
And
Julian.
together, we can
Go
create
away,
I hope
Julian
Delaney.
Castro.
I hope
Thank you very
Delaney
much.
comes
Thank you to all
and
of
takes
our
your place.
candidates. It was a great debate. I think we learned a lot.
It was
So
a great-
thanks to you.
It was a
Thanks to
great
Texas
debate.
Southern University
I
for
loved
hosting us
it.
tonight.
It made
that guy
my
awake during
brain
this debate?
happen.
Thanks to everyone at home. The debate is
Debate.
over.
We had a
Right.
great debate and we learned a lot. Bullshit, we didn't learn anything.
And George,
The
thank
only
you.
thing I
Great
learned is
debate
these
tonight.
motherfuckers on stage are full of shit. That's what I fucking learned.
I learned that I don't ever want to watch one of these again. I'm gonna have to watch every single fucking one because we do this
Look,
goddamn
and then,
show.
TJ, and then TJ, eventually,
I know.
you're gonna have to watch the best debate. The
Do
best.
they get more painful with each fucking goddamn one too?
Do you think whoever wins and they go up against Trump, that'll at least be a little bit more interesting? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping Trump does some off-the-wall bullshit. Like, what happens if Trump decides to like try to body slam whoever he's going against, dude?
Blah 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 blah.
Who the fuck knows, dude?
Who cares?
Who cares? I hate this whole
Who
fucking
knows?
Well, you guys
Who
aren't excited for more of
cares?
this stuff?
No actual fucking solutions on the table. This
Oh, were you actually
bullshit.
expecting?
I'm
the
hoping
solution,
that these
though?
will get a little less painful as there's less people. I'm just hoping,
No.
like, please, some of these fucking useless cocksucker candidates, will you please just drop out already.
Dude, I want to hear an actual
By the way,
fucking picking apart of
so
my platform, TJ.
Kamala Harris didn't fucking didn't do what she needed to do. She's
No,
fucking
she
gotta
sucked.
go.
Biden stammered his way through another underwhelming performance.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem to do anything to
Doesn't
him.
matter.
So whatever.
He always just walks away from that.
He gets to just
He's like
ride the
Teflon.
Obama thing.
Bernie was hampered by a fucking cold or whatever he's
Something.
got.
Whatever the fuck's
I
going
mean,
on
at his
there.
age, you know, you don't want that grumbly shit happening in your throat, but whatever. Who else? Yang's surprise went over like a wet fart.
Yeah,
it's a big campaign ad or whatever.
Yeah, he should have done something. You need to do something way crazier than that if you're gonna fucking build up this
just
big crazy surprise.
I mean, I will give it to the Yang gang on this. Yang had some different ideas from other people on the stage, and that stood out in a big way.
He did stand out. I'll give him that much for sure.
Buttigieg,
a few times in a good
had
way.
A horrible performance.
Buttigieg, every time I see him, is more underwhelming than the last time I've seen him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just he's so in bed with the corporatism that causes all these problems that it's hard to take him seriously.
It's just so boring. And
I mean,
so
not
empty.
that all of these candidates aren't that way.
Klobuchar, why is she there? Booker.
Klobuchar has no business being on that stage.
Booker and Klobuchar and Castro. Although at least Castro had a few little snipey moments.
They need to be hooked or gonged off the stage.
I mean, but he's got no fucking chance. Klobuchar had no moments.
Nothing. I mean, she's not. Can you name a Klobuchar moment from any of the fucking debates we watched?
There isn't one.
There isn't one, and there never will be.
Did Elizabeth Warren have a moment? Not really. I mean, I don't know. She's better than some of the voices up there when it comes to healthcare and shit, but it's more of the same. Bernie, I don't know, he's a little underwhelming. I feel the same way about the last debate with Bernie's performance tonight. I feel like he started with a lot of gusto and kind of ran out of gas as time went on.
Yeah, and he didn't have. Usually he kind of ties it all back together with his closing statement, but this time they made him do this weird.
Yeah.
Fucking shit.
Yeah, it's non-existent.
They got an opening statement.
They had then they had this weird, really bad last question that they kind of just replaced the closing
this
statement.
is what we
with.
do instead of a closing statement now. So here's some speaking time statistics here. Biden talked for fucking 10 minutes. I swear it felt like a year.
Booker, 8 minutes? Oh,
Booker, every time I saw Booker on, I got so pissed. Every time I saw them fucking fielding another question of fucking Booker.
Yeah.
Klobuchar, 7 minutes. Oh, so this is a fucking miscarriage.
Yeah, dude, if Amy Klobuchar got 7.5 minutes and Andrew Yang got 4, there's something
look at
fundamentally
Bernie's.
wrong.
Look at ABC is obviously one of the most biased of all these fucking networks because Sanders and Yang, the only two candidates with anything to fucking say at all.
Yeah.
Stuffed at the bottom.
Stuffed at the bottom of the fucking speaking time.
And Amy Klobuchar in 4th place.
Dude, Biden just barely has less speaking time than Sanders and Yang.
Yeah, this was
combined.
the debate was not yet over at the time this was updated. It's updated at 9:34, so all these people had a little more speaking time than this.
But not much.
This show, I mean, like, the only thing that happened after that was the closing remark bullshit, so each of them had the equal time for that, so these statistics remain pretty much untouched by that.
Yeah.
It's pretty ridiculous.
It's totally fucking ridiculous.
It's insane. It's fucking insane.
And I mean, it's just an example of who the fucking establishment is pushing. They're pushing Biden. They're pushing Booker. They're pushing Warren. They're trying to position Booker for a VP run, attach him to one of these other two personalities, and they're burying the only voices up there that have anything different and unique and problem-solving in nature to say.
Wonder why that is.
In favor of the status quo.
Garbage. Absolute fucking garbage.
Yeah.
Let's get fucking Sherlock Holmes on that case, huh, Paul?
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Wonder what
I feel drained.
the story is behind that.
Oh,
huh?
dude, the DNC is fucking. They're psychic vampires, dude. After you watch this shit, you just feel like the life has just been drained out of you. Any fucking spirit or passion.
How did
you
that
had for
poll
anything.
turn out?
Your poll?
Yeah.
The Paul poll.
Yeah.
The Paul poll.
The Paul poll.
The poll.
All right.
The pulpit.
The poll.
I'll go ahead and publish.
Let's
those
see.
results.
Let's see how wrong I am. How devastatingly wrong is Paul?
How devastatingly wrong is Paul? How do you think it broke down? So the question once again is Paul right?
Right.
The options were yes, on some shit, on most shit, and no.
I think no was.
I think no is going to lead.
15%.
Yeah, no is going to lead, and then it's going to be the yes will be the bottom answer.
Yes will be the bottom answer.
Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
All right. So with 54 votes. Yes, 28%.
Wow.
Told you.
With 62 votes on some shit with 33%. On most shit, 50 votes, 26%. And no, 11% with 21 votes.
About 10%.
Wow, there you go.
Damn, dude, I was
My
good.
cynicism did not serve me in this one.
So 90% of, or almost 90% of the people
Think
agree
I'm
with
right.
you on some level.
Oh.
You know,
cool.
It
They
looks,
think I'm right.
It looks like the.
I think I'm 100% right.
No.
Yes, they do.
No, they don't.
They left me.
Shut up, TJ.
The top option.
So wrong.
The top option is still just on some shit. So some people agree with you on some things.
That makes
Right.
sense.
Well, no, the
And
top option was yes.
No, I read them in the order of the
You read them in fucking
30
Castro order?
No, I can read you in order from most to least.
Yeah, most to least.
On some shit is 33%.
Okay.
Gotcha.
On most shit is, yes is 28%, so it's actually in second. And on most shit is in third place with 26%.
Okay.
And no with 11% is in last place. So really, most people, roughly half the audience, thinks that you are right on all or most of what you said.
Well, there we go, dude. I got to run for president.
So,
it's time to run for president, dude.
Our marketing research shows that you would be a successful candidate.
You have the neckbeard vote, dude.
Yeah, I got it locked down.
Touch the neckbeard power. All right, well, that's pretty good for a fucking debate thing, I guess. So we're going to wrap this up. We got to go. We all feel drained.
Let's fucking wrap it up and put a bow on it.
We all feel wretchedly awful now.
Yep, good night, everybody.
Go take a fucking
it's
long
time
shower.
to wrap this shit up. Thank you guys for watching, and fare thee well.